Welcome back. Part 5. The final... We ended up recording 5 parts, right?
Yeah. We did. And the baby actually went down in like 15 minutes today, so I am happy.
Yeah, so...
energized.
And I'm going to happily talk about the darkest ending to the coolest spooky book ever.
I am. I'm literally going to do a bootleg rundown because it's been 5 parts, and I think that we can all use a refresher on what happens in this last part.
Do it.
So, we are going to open up part 5, Matters of Life and Death.
Okay, this is a spooky book. You can keep the jolliness, but add a little spooky spice to it.
Well, Holleran's down south in Florida, having a good time. He's in the market. He's saying bye to his friend. He's going to get together for drinks. He's driving his car. All of a sudden, psychic blast.
Psychic Mewtwo?
Yeah, basically. It actually kind of was. Yeah. It's literally so strong. He loses control of his car, swerves into the other lane where there's an oncoming truck, and the truck does some obscene gestures at him.
He was a rude, racist man.
He wasn't. He was pissed because I mean, he actually was. He was.
He said a lot of words.
He said a lot of words.
We're not going to repeat on here.
I admit,
Bucko.
It was hilarious the way it was worded.
Holy shit! Go ahead.
He shot a hand signal at him, and it wasn't the peace sign of the two signs that the human people use.
What if a certain word? Oh my God! It's on the screen right now.
Don't do it.
That's Stephen King, sir. It is a lifelong Maine liberal who put these words on your screen. It is not my fault.
So immediately he's like, "Oh no, the boy is in danger."
Mm-hmm. He knows, old snow boys up there.
So he races home. I mean, he races back to where he's working right now. He tells them that he needs to run home because his son's been shot. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think that's the actual story.
Yeah, of course.
And the guy's like, I didn't know you had a son. He's like, I do. He's been shot. I need to leave. Family emergency.
Because the cops, I heard every freaking excuse. Or that when you go to the airport?
No, not the cop. The manager at this hotel.
Oh, that's right.
Because the manager's like, bro, you're leaving on the busiest weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're leaving me with, the kid that you're leaving me with has 2 stones for brains. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, anybody that worked restaurants know, he's leaving on the busiest shift of the weekend, the busiest everything.
He literally tells him, you could take my car, my house, you can even have my wife if you can tolerate her. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I actually need to go save a little white boy. But he doesn't say it like that. He actually says, I gotta go save my son. Yeah. So he gets the permission to go. He actually has in his pocket his will written, because for whatever reason he felt the need to have a will written.
Mm-hmm. That's just good life advice, folks.
That actually is. Yep. Side rant. We're not going to get into.
Thanks to our sponsor. Go ahead. I am.
While Holleran's basically getting ready to boogie his ass up to Colorado.
Calcutta.
To Colorado. Back at the Overlook, everything's going to shit. Well, Jack is losing his mind. He is hearing people. He's going to parties. There's a hussy. There is dancing. There's all type of fornicating and things happening, and it's not just
Well, hurry up and get to the bad part.
Huh?
That all sounds great to me. Go ahead.
So it's not just in Jack's head at this point. Wendy is also starting to hear voices and people talking back to him and music, and there are doors opening and closing and elevators taking people places, and the hotel is alive.
Yes, like we say, it got stronger. It gets stronger with Danny. We agree with that, right?
Yeah, and closer. The closer we get to Red Drum.
Yeah. The date, which is December 5th?
2nd.
Right? 2nd. Yeah, something like that. Hey,
December
5's like a 2 upside down.
You
know what I'm saying?
Date.
It's in the mirror of my mind. December 2nd is when Red Rum hits the fan.
So Holleran tries to catch a plane, misses the first plane, gets on the second plane, is terrified, meets this lady that's got a shine to her. She helps him stay calm. They land. She sends him good luck. He's trying to get a car, gets a car, gets into this little side town, and he makes it to what's it called? Sidewinder?
Little
makes it to Sidewinder.
Closest civilization.
Meets some guy that he's going to rent a snowmobile from. The guy looks at him because Holleran is described as never being anywhere that ever snowed ever. Yeah. He never
avoids
stayed.
the snow.
Even though he works in Colorado, he never stayed there for snow, so he's got one snow jacket and a pair of jeans. So the guy trades. Well, first there's a snowplow because trying to get this Sidewinder, he almost gets killed.
He's like, "You're crazy going up there,"
and he actually gets hit by another psychic blast on the way there. But this time, because he's been getting hit repeatedly by Danny, but this time it's actually the Overlook attacking him.
Yeah.
He gets an actual signal from the Overlook that says, "Don't come here." Obscene words and lots of really mean things that I have no need to say or repeat.
Historic English words for certain fellas.
But basically, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you here. And here are a bunch of images of everybody dying.
Yeah, that's true.
And why? Because technically, we're still in this kind of overlapping. These people, Wendy is being attacked as poor Holleran's trying to race his ass up this mountain to get to them, and there's a snowstorm and nobody can see anything and no one thinks he's going to make it there. Wendy's literally dealing with Jack. She's basically hearing him lose his mind, and she's deciding whether it makes sense for her to off him or not. And her and Danny have been locked in this room, which is their little apartment, and they've locked Jack out. Like, he's outside just running around the hotel and they can hear him talking to nobody.
Yeah. But they've, like you said, they've at least seen
But
shit
they can
too.
hear voices back. And Danny's basically terrified.
Yeah. Danny's 5.
Yeah.
Just 5 years old. I'm just a baby.
He literally, from the last part, the line is like, I'm 5. Doesn't that count for anything?
Yeah. It's like, why am I getting side blast?
Wendy, in an attempt to go get some food, leaves the room. She's going to leave. She's going to go try to get them something to eat. For some reason, she's going to make them scrambled eggs and tomato soup. Because I guess it's lunch and breakfast, and she doesn't know when she's going to be out there again. So she's going to try to make them lunch and breakfast.
Right? Yeah.
And then on the way back, she's going to find Jack laid out, and she's going to feel bad for him because it looks like he took a tumble. And, really...
She said he looks like a little tired kid who played too much.
Yo, she feels for him. She loves this man. It's her husband. He's losing his mind. She loves him, not the monster he's becoming that the hotel is turning him into. They can save him. If they just wait it out, if they can somehow get him somewhere safe.
You can try.
And so in trying to figure this out, she approaches him thinking that he's knocked out, and he grabs her by the ankles and he goes, "Gotcha!" Literally like that.
I literally I'm surprised this is not highlighted. I that was like, holy shit, that was probably the scariest part of the book for me, and I think I was washing dishes listening to it.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying. You remembered it even from the first time reading it, I think. Here it is. Maybe?
I gotcha.
Yeah, something like that.
Jack, you're hurting my ankle.
Yeah.
He's basically.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
So he, pulls her down. She falls. There's a scuffle. And then Danny comes over, and I forget how something is going to hit Jack on the head.
Yeah, Danny picks up something and whacks him with a bottle, I think.
Yeah, well, no, she actually tries to whack him because there's a bunch of bottles that are candle. So she tries to whack him, and Danny's
she's
gonna,
about to get killed and
jump on him because they're in the bar area. They're in the lounge. I think it's called the Colorado Lounge, but they're basically in the bar area of the hotel. So they're going to basically wrestle this man into the pantry, and they're going to close his ass in there. And Danny's going to actually be the one to lock the door because they're basically in it. Wendy's going to help. First, they're going to knock him out. They're going to drag him in there. And as he's waking up, they're going to basically shove his ass in there cartoon style. And then they're going to try to close the door, and it's not closing. And they can't figure out why. And Danny sees it's this stupid lever mechanism. So Wendy's going to be she's going to shout, "Danny, hurry, lock it." And he's going to hear his dad be like, "Don't you lock that door." And for a second, he's going to have the computer program and override, and then he's going to lock it.
But he loves his daddy.
Jack is stuck in the pantry. The concept is that they will eat all the food in the freezer, and Jack can eat all the food in the pantry until help comes.
It's actually quite genius.
It actually
Especially
is.
to think on the fly.
It would have worked out if the hotel wasn't alive.
Oh, well. That's a bit of a big old stipulation there.
So they go in. They leave. They go into the room. They forget about their scrambled eggs and soup, and that's brought up later because they're hungry, and she realizes she left all the food out there.
Yeah.
So she's like, "All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just going to sneak my little booty out there. I'm going to grab the food. And I'm going to come right back. Jack's stuck in the pantry. What is the worst that could happen?
The building itself supernaturally eats you. Your soul is trapped at the Overlook Hotel forever.
Literally downstairs in the kitchen, Grady, the old caretaker, now come back as a physical ghost, has opened the door for Jack and asked him, well, who done did this to you? Yeah. Maybe you ain't responsible enough to be the manager of this place. I don't know if you can really take care of the hotel.
You got trapped by a little boy who's only 5.
You can't even keep your wife and your son in line. How can we trust you to keep this hotel in tip-top shape? We're a 5-star, what's it called? Michelin?
Yeah, Michelin.
Michelin Hotel.
Michelin Hotel. Yeah, because remember he wanted to become the
because they basically while they're like having a party, they were like, "Hey Jack, you know what you should do? You should work all the way to the top. We think you got it in you."
It's just beautiful, Chef Keith, a manager, a ruler in heaven. I mean, in hell. Like, you know, he's literally gonna. Maybe if I can be in the tip top of this fucking nightmarish place,
I will run this place.
I can have some distinction.
Literally, he went from just being a writer and leaving to
does he totally give up on a ship? I will
write about this place and still take care of it to this place is the Holy Land. Why would I ever want to leave?
Yeah, pretty
quick. I am home. So
Dad's on the loose here.
Well, Papa basically, and Grady tells Jack, he goes, do you know what you have to do? And Jack goes, yes, I need to give them their medicine. Which
is what his dad was telling him through the radio. The last time.
And he now realizes why his dad beat his mom so much.
Yeah. The real artist would sacrifice what he loves, which means his family. No, I'm saying, but that's what the dad told him before. He needs to kill him.
He did, but Jack also realizes that what his family is doing is out of line. They're out of discipline.
Yep.
It is time to get everyone in line because he is the manager. He has what it takes.
Yeah, It's not a French hotel, though. It's where maybe, I don't know if you read like a translation or a
Also, at this point, Jack has also decided that if the hotel wants Danny...
Jack is French.
Jacques has decided.
Jacques with an X.
Oh, no.
We have to do a baby break real quick.
She's awake.
We'll be right back.
Wait.
Yeah, we'll be right back. We're back. Baby's good.
She's good. She's down. We're back. I'm going to finish this rant.
Jacques is on the loose.
And also, Grady has given him a rook.
A roke.
A roke mallet.
Roke mallet. It has 2 sides, you know.
I wasn't sure.
Okay. Well, they're going to tell you a bunch.
So,
tick-tock,
Wendy's going to come out of the room because she's hungry. And she's like, what's the worst that could happen? Evil. She's going to sneaky out. She's going to grab a knife. And she's going to be like... Well, actually, I believe she had the knife with her already.
Yeah.
She has it in her robe. Because for whatever reason, she's also in her PJs.
You got to keep that thing on you.
So she's walking around with her knife in her robe. She's going to come out, hallway's okay.
Yep.
Going to look down the stairs.
She's literally playing like a stealth game.
It is terrifying. This is actually... I'm making fun. Or like, not making fun. I'm uber condensing. But it is terrifying because basically she's like, what's that?
Yeah, because she's already been attacked, and this is the biggest attack in the whole book, and now she has to creep back over in the darkness.
But like Jack is in the pantry, right?
To visualize it all dark. Yeah, but she knows, but she also didn't hear him messing around anymore.
She heard a voice.
Yeah, no, I know, but remember they stopped hearing him screaming? He was like screaming.
Yeah, and she could have sworn that she heard him talking to someone.
Yeah, Danny had to listen to his dad screaming at them, muffled, through the doors, through the floors.
So she's like, he's got to passed out in the pantry, right? So she's walking over to the kitchen, and she had left the food by like the reception, and she's like, oh, there's the food. I'm just going to take this and I'll heat it up in the room. And then she looks and she's like, why is the kitchen light on? I could have sworn I turned that off.
No bueno.
What could have happened?
I don't know. Probably something good for once.
Where's Johnny? A line that's not actually in the book, by the way.
I know, right? Because it's so famous from the movie. But yeah, not in the book.
So, Jack comes out and literally slams her across the back or the shoulder with the freaking mallet.
Yeah.
And so she's down on the ground, and he's going to try to mallet the hell out of her, and she's going to try to knife him. And she actually is. She's going to get the knife in between his shoulder blades.
Yeah, she stabs him in the back.
And he's going to shout, "You have killed me."
Yeah, he says, "You killed me." Let me see if you bitch, I believe.
And so in my mind, She
Yeah, you
actually
bitch,
did
you killed me.
legitimately kill physical Jack
I
at
know.
this point.
Mm-hmm. You can finish your rant if you want. We'll come back to it.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
But so he's gonna say that, and then she's gonna think that he's dead because he's gonna kind of like crumple a little bit, and then she's gonna, at this point, she's been beat so bad that she has to like drag herself. She's got like broken ribs and something in her back, and she's dragging herself up the stairs, and she's super slow. She's like, "This is okay. Danny and I will just wait for help."
Yeah.
And then she looks back, and Jack's like, "I'm coming too."
Mm-hmm. Which she stabbed, like you said, she stabbed him close to spine. Is how, like literally right through his back.
She's crawling up the stairs a little faster now because she's terrified, and he's crawling up the stairs with her, but dragging the mallet because he's got a knife in his back, and his body's just starting to reanimate itself.
Yep.
And so she's going to literally make it to the room, and she's going to try to close the door, and it's not going to work out. And she's going to yell at Danny, but Danny's not there. And she's going to realize, like, she's looking around the room, and she's like, "Where's our child?"
Yeah.
Flashback.
He's playing video
at
games.
this point to Halloran, who's getting hit psychically by the house, who's sending him literally the images of Wendy getting beat the shit out of, and a bloody mallet and a robe. And he's like, "They're dead."
Yeah. But it is motivating him to get up there. He knows for
And
sure
he's like,
this isn't
"I
some
need to
goddamn...
save that little boy, or at least see him dead."
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "I am making it up there." So the snowplow is going to come out and almost kill him. And then the guy's going to jump out of the snowplow and be like, "What are you doing driving on the side of a mountain in the middle of a snowstorm when all the roads are closed? Are you trying to die?" And he's going to be like, "You're not going to believe me. I need to go save a little boy." And he's going to be like, "Actually, I do believe you because I also have weird visions like you do.
I got low-level shine."
Yeah. So here's my coat, or actually no, here are my mittens, because I can see your hands are cold. Good luck. And when you get to Sidewinder, look for this guy right next to the library. He's got a bunch of snowmobiles that you can rent. Tell him I sent you, and then he will make sure that you can get something to get yourself up to the hotel.
Yeah.
So he's going to make it to Sidewinder. He's going to be terrified driving in the snow, seeing all kinds of stuff and shadows, and just not very good at driving. He's going to almost lose control like 30 times.
And they had a crazy foreshadowing, super just a trickle in your brain. There's a scary story about kids that were riding around through the woods at night and got beheaded from like a chain, like a property.
Jack said that's one of the reasons why they shouldn't leave the hotel.
Yeah. But that's going through your mind as Halloran is racing up to the hotel.
Yeah, because like all you can see are like tops of signs and shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, that'd be insane.
So he makes it to Sidewinder. He makes it to this little place next to the library. It's literally about to close, and he's like, "I need to rent a snowmobile." And the guy's like, "Are you mad?" And he's like, "I need to make it up to the Overlook because I need to check on the people." And he's like,
crazy.
"Little Danny, not little Danny." And he's like,
"I like little Danny.
I like little Danny. I will help you." And he's like, "Also, the man that you sent that you just named, whose name I forgot.
Yeah.
I like him, and he seems to have visions like I think you do, because you have no idea of these people.
Because they all know there's no way. The phones don't even work.
Yeah.
There's nobody can get in contact with them.
How would this man from Florida know?
Yeah. But like I said, they believe him because there's shine everywhere.
So it's basically like shiners. We'll get into it, but basically like a chain of shiners all connecting to save Danny.
Oh my god, do we gotta join the shiners? Go ahead.
Yes. So he's going to be like, "Listen, I know that this other man gave you the mittens, but I will trade you jackets. Take my jacket, take my snowmobile, and
weird
go."
RPG game.
Yeah, basically like,
Go ahead.
"Here,
Would you
take
want to
this.
trade?
Don't go alone.
Yeah, it's too cold.
It's too cold to
It's
go alone."
supernatural out there.
So Halloran's over there on the snowmobile. Wah, wah. And he's going to literally be seeing the Overlook at some point. And he's like, "I'm almost there." And then as he's about to like
There's
get
just some
into the
stupid
Overlook,
bushes in the way.
yeah, the bush is shaped like a lion.
Yep.
So the lion's literally going to attack him and knock him off the snowmobile, but he had like a gas tank, so he's going to pour gas on the lion, and he's going to set it on fire, and it's going to run away screaming. And then he's going to get back on the snowmobile, and he's going to make it to the Overlook. He's going to open the gate. He's going to go through. All the other animals are freaking out. And then Jack, who's inside the hotel room, not the hotel room, where the little living cabin room, he's really gonna be beating the shit out of Wendy, and he's about to do the killing blow, and then he stops because he gets a telepathic message from the Overlook, and he's like, "Oh, I got other business. I gotta go make sure that guy on the snowmobile's dead." He says it in much worse way.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it the way he does.
That is
Mr. King. Basically, the Overlook is like, yo, we need to prioritize. She's basically almost dead. You can come back and finish this off later.
Yeah.
And nobody knows where Danny is. So Holleran's gonna pull up. He's gonna walk into the hotel. He's gonna open the door. He's gonna be like, Wendy, Danny, anybody home?
Turn into Cartman. Who are these characters?
He's gonna.
Cartman's fighting the French Jacques.
He's gonna creep in. He's gonna walk up the stairs. I believe he's basically in the hotel, and then
No, he
behind
takes a
him.
stair lift.
Yeah, no, he goes up the stairs. He's heading to their like living quarters, and then Jack's gonna start beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So Holleran goes down. Poof.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, our only hope.
Yeah, and he's
is
gone.
Basically dead on arrival.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. And then climax, you're thinking like, all right, it's gonna go well,
Yeah.
Even though I was worried that he was gonna get beheaded on the way in his freaking snowmobile. But yeah.
So at this point, Danny's going to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny's basically going to end up reliving his dream, and he's going to have his dad chasing him up to the presidential suite. Because
Yeah.
Danny's idea was like, I will lure him up there, and then I will make it up into the attic.
Yeah.
But he forgot he's 5, and his dad locked the attic, thinking that his 5-year-old would be wandering around trying to figure out how to get in the attic.
Yeah.
So he's basically at the end of the hallway, and all these doors got ghosts in them and shit. Literally, Wendy, as she had been running away from Jack, like one of the doors opens, like, and, like closes.
Fucking cheap haunted house attraction.
And so Danny's basically having a fucking panic attack, and then Tony comes, and Tony's like, Danny, it's okay. Remember what you have forgotten.
Remember, I'm from the future. Of course I know him. I'm
Danny,
him.
Danny sees him, and he's like, oh, you're me. And he's like, of course I'm you. You've always known I was you.
Yeah.
You're just 5, so you didn't really know it was me, but you've
Yeah.
always secretly known it was me.
Mm-hmm.
And you are I, and we are together. And you must remember what you have forgotten. I can't tell you what it is, but you'll know because I'm from the future.
I know, right? I can't tell you what it is for plot suspense purposes. I can't just say boiler room, boiler room, boiler room.
So as his dad approaches, he's going to kill Danny, and then for a second he freezes because deep down under that monster that the Overlook has basically possessed him with, his daddy's going to fight back, and his daddy's going to say, we are not killing my son. And so he's going to freeze, and you'll be like, Danny, run.
Run, you
I
fool.
can't take control for long.
Run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, Dad, I'm not going to leave you. I love you. And then the Overlook's going to take over again. And it's going to be like, that's not happening one more time. It's going to take the mallet and smash the face of Jack so that it's not Jack anymore. And now it's just literally the Overlook. And Jack is dead. And both physically and spiritually, that man is gone.
He smashes his own face with the rope mallet, right?
Yes.
Because the movie so was ingrained in my head that I visualized it as the axe, even though it clearly was not the axe.
No, it was a mallet.
Yeah. Not even seeing the movie, just the trailers and famous scenes with him running around
We'll
with
double
the
check.
axe. No, it's it's not. You're right.
At no point is there an axe. The axe was Grady.
Yeah, and the whole thing, like the recurring rope
Yeah.
thing. So, yeah.
So Danny watches this, and Danny sees the monster coming at him, and then Danny smiles because it occurs to him what has been forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, did you forget about the boiler?
Yeah.
Because it has not been let out. The steam has not been let out for possibly a day and a half.
Yeah.
I forget the exact time.
Yeah, yeah. But
The last time
that's his
that
main
Jack,
job. Every
Jack
day he's
had
supposed to be
already
doing it.
forgotten to do this once.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went down there, it was at like 200. And if we remember, Watson or Winston or whatever his name is, had said he wouldn't stand near it at 180 because this thing is old and patched and it should not be doing that. And Jack had already told himself, I really can't let this thing get that high again.
Mm-hmm.
Although part of him had decided, maybe I should, because then the whole thing will blow up.
Yeah.
So somewhere deep down, I think subconsciously, Jack decided, I'm going to let that boiler
That is a
boiler
pretty cool
go.
point. I like that.
And Danny is going to tell the demon,
Mm-hmm.
you done forgot the boiler. Haha.
And it does
We're all
freak out.
gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And the monster's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. I'm going to go downstairs, and then I'm going to come and kill you.
Yeah.
So the monster's going to run downstairs. Danny's going to go wake Hollering up, and his mom, or Wendy's going to actually wake Hollering up and be like, where is Danny? And Hollering, and all smashed up, literally his jaw's broken. He's going to be like, I don't know. Because I feel bad. Like, how do you talk with a broken jaw?
Exactly, yeah. Let's learn sign language, folks.
So he's going to literally, Danny's going to come running over. He's going to grab Wendy with her broken ass ribs and back, and he's gonna scoop Danny up. And he's gonna be running because Danny basically sends him telepathically, like, or not telepathically, I don't remember. It might have been a mix of both, but he's like, we're gonna explode if we don't leave.
Yeah.
So they're gonna run, and then they're gonna slow motion jump out the door as the building
like
explodes.
An 80s TV show.
Literally how my mind would do it.
I know.
It'd be very Stranger Things happy ending, like slow motion. They're like, just as they're running out the door,
yeah.
Because then literally the blast pushes them forward.
Yeah, they fly. Oh, the stupidest line in this whole book. He felt like Superman.
Well, that's in the perspective of Danny, though, right?
Let me find it. I don't think so. I thought it was Halloran.
Oh, Halloran?
Yeah, this is what Superman must feel like. Slipped through Halloran's mind as they flew through the air. This grown asshole dude. Yeah.
So they're gonna land in the snow, and then they're gonna look back, and the hotel is catching on fire, and the animals are all withering away, and it's looking pretty good. And they're like, man, it's cold. We need to get the hell out of here. And Halloran's going to be like, I know what to do. I'm going to go into that shed where the snowmobile was, and I'm going to go grab some blankets that I know we used to keep there. So he's going to go in there, and he's going to literally be tempted by the hotel one more time. The last of its little teeth are going to try to sink their way into Halloran.
It's still a building. We'll get into my rant point there, but think about it, it's still a structure.
Yeah, it's still part of the Overlook. It is the last of the Overlook, and it is going to try to seep into his mind and have him kill Wendy and little Danny.
Because he hears the same line, right? The whole a mallet has two sides, whatever.
Yep, because it's going to literally tempt him to grab the mallets on the wall and to kill them. Like, why did I come up here and risk my life for these two retards? Oh, I shouldn't say that, but...
It's okay. Hey, there's a lot worse words in here.
True.
And I'm literally looking at wondering
bad.
how they're going to do it. Go ahead.
But, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to... And I'm trying to find a line where it says that they got the actual rope mallet.
Yep.
And, he hears the exact same wording, the exact same thing, so that entity is not fully dead.
No, it's still trying to get Danny.
He's going to blow up the shed. Think about it. We need a part two.
It ends up... So... He's going to fight it off. He's going to be like, no, I am a good guy. I literally came up to save these people. These are nice people. They don't deserve what's happened to them. I love Danny. And so he's going to go back out with the blankets. He's going to wrap them in it. Because they also had enough time to, like, grab their shit. But it, like, wasn't enough. So he's going to everybody's going to be wrapped up in little burritos. They're going to get all on the snowmobile. And they're going to head back to Sidewinder. Because the guy that rented him the snowmobile told him to come back. And if he could come back with the kid and the mom, that they would have soup for them. So they're going to basically head back. The doctor's going to be waiting for them. Like, everyone's going to basically be down in town and be seeing the fire, but there's nothing they could do about it because no fire trucks or anything can go over there. They're just seeing the smoke.
Yeah.
There's a giant-ass building on fire. And as he's leaving, it is mentioned that he can see everything, including the little shed collapse in flame.
I got it right here. After a while, the shed began to burn too.
Yeah.
Which was so necessary. Stephen
King
being great with the freaking wording. Yeah. So there is no structure. There's no body that this demon spirit of the hotel can, live in.
Yeah.
Amplify through.
So they're safe. And then a while later, there's an epilogue. And we're going to find that Halloran has a job in this nice little...
It's about salads.
Yeah.
It opens with... I hate these epilogue things.
Because it's like a lake... It's like a cabin house lake resort area. I get it. And it even has the sneakiest,
scary part at the end, actually.
It does.
As much as I go, epilogue.
Halloran's going to come over, and Wendy's in like a back brace and shit. And he's going to be like, hey, are you enjoying your last vacation before you get a job? And she's going to be like, oh, yeah, I am. I'm so happy that Al Shockley was able to get me a job.
I decided to take Mr. Shockley, up on his offer, she said. Look at her changing. She used to hate Al.
Yeah, but he came to save her.
That she's already like, Mr. Shockley, correcting herself. Superior Mr. Shockley. The fucking old drunk that got your husband in trouble all of his life. And set him up here and got him the job where he died in and was possessed by a fucking haunted house.
Yeah, Mr. Shockley must have felt so bad about everything that happened. So he got her a job.
Yep. He must have felt so bad.
And so it ends with basically Hollering and Danny being like, "You'll be my friend forever, right?" "Oh yeah, I'll love you till the end of time, and we're gonna go fishing later." "Oh, you
Yep.
got a big one! Yay! Reel it in all by yourself." In some symbolic way of, at some point you're gonna be doing things on your own, kid. I
Yeah.
won't always be here to help you.
Yeah. I know, something like that.
But sweet, in a sweet way.
No, I know.
And also in like a,
I
I know you don't have a
super
daddy
deep
anymore,
take on here. Yeah,
but I
know,
will
right?
help you.
Yeah.
Like I will guide you in
But
where
why
he
fishing?
cannot.
Why fishing?
Because that's a classic dad thing.
Yeah.
I admit, fishing is a dad,
I think
especially.
that's all it is. I just wonder if it's something deeper.
No.
For some reason, I got Moby Dick vibes, but I don't know what that means. In this case, I'm like, I don't know why I'm thinking
I
that.
guess they talk about how like the bigger fish are in the middle of the ocean, so you do have to go into like deeper waters to get grander prizes. But it's also just a like very dad moment.
Yeah.
And he's just lost his dad, so
Yeah,
Holleran's kind of gonna be. It's showing that he's gonna be there to help guide Danny for as long as he can. Fill his shoes of what his dad would have been.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's got to be some sort of parallel for this. I don't know. You always get the water and the unconscious and the thing. And he says you never know if it's a trout or like he's making up a pink whale, just to be funny with Danny and all that. I don't know. But that is our whole summary. So you just flew through it very well. And I say flew through it, but that still took 30 minutes. But that's how much goes on in the end of this book.
Yeah.
On each of these sections.
If you enjoyed my breakdown, let me know if you would like a speed run of.
Oh, well, yeah.
For future books.
Yeah, instead of all the things. All right, so what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we can go chapter by chapter now if you want.
If you want, we can roll through here.
We can roll through. We got Florida. That's where he's literally in Florida.
Why do you think the oranges are his little psychic tell? Was that ever mentioned? Like,
I think because he's kind of southern and like.
Yeah, right. I wonder if it's connected to a super personal memory, whatever triggered. I don't know. Just growing up, either in some farm or just some fresh made orange juice when he's home or something.
There's nothing ever really.
Yeah, I don't think it's related to the event he's picking up. It's just his little trigger.
I wonder if probably just like whoever it was, his grandma or aunt, that told him that he had to shine. And
yeah, because that's
like,
where this whole term comes from, right?
She used to smell. Yeah. Like I wonder if she used to smell like oranges or worked around oranges or had oranges or things like that could have maybe.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I love it in the communicating at a distance, which is him. It could be. She's okay.
I had to drink water.
Oh, okay.
Like I was being loud.
What is, it's just interesting. Like this thing is such a giant demon creature because it describes it. They saw it running down the hallway, the big black blob, spectral, ghostly thing with red eyes. And then when it's dying, when it's burning, you actually see this black shape. Or they say they didn't know if they really saw it. Was it smoke or was it?
Like a
they
demon.
swear they could see like a face, but it was, I forget the term for it, where you see stuff, patterns where it's not there.
Oh.
But obviously we're dealing with a supernatural goddamn
so
monster.
Probably.
Yeah, so they saw this thing fluttering away. But like we were saying, that was he being manipulated all the way back at Stovington, right? What's it called?
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, Jack. At least throughout Shockley, you got like these conduits. What I love about his metaphysics is like the physical parts matter. It seems that the actual mallet has some sort of, force relic, some sort of supernatural charge to it. The house itself, obviously. It's not just any house.
No.
Like, Danny can communicate with Halloran at a distance, but this demon can't?
It did.
Of course. That's what I mean. Like, of course it can, but then so why is it bound to a building?
Well, some of the stuff we explore in Dr. Sleep.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she read Dr. Sleep a while ago. I have not read it yet, but I remember us talking about it and listening to some of it.
I have a feeling my concussion affected my ability to really take in Dr. Sleep.
Yikes.
So I don't remember. Also, it's a lot. Like, there was a lot of information in Dr. Sleep, I feel. So I'm not going to... But I know that we explore a lot of stuff when it comes to this, like, power
Yeah, how it works.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up because Halloran has a Saint Christopher medal. Bum. I'm just trying to see what is he known for. Known for travelers and motorists. Okay. Yeah, they hang it in their vehicle for luck. There you go. All right. On the nose. I was waiting for some super thingy here. But yeah, that's why I think it was important that the other building had to burn down. But this thing's just gonna flutter off somewhere else. I mean, that spirit thing isn't killed or harmed in any way. It's just gonna go into hiding. It's gonna go, well, like you said, maybe it's in Dr. Sleep.
I actually think it's still trying to, like, the fact that Al Shockley got him a job, like got Wendy a job. I think it's still trying to get Danny.
And I wonder we don't learn where the job is, right? Does he ever give a name?
It mentions it's in.
Okay. Wherever it is, you could imagine.
Like Wisconsin or something, like
yeah,
something weird.
But do you think the spirit would go there?
The spirit might be in different places. Like, if Al Shockley is part of a board of people and they're connected to different places, it might be different, like spread out across different locations.
Yeah. That's, I mean, a bunch of different, historical areas. Like every culture throughout all time had like this haunted, this woods is haunted or that valley is uniquely haunted. So like certain locations have different things. And then of course buildings, like, oh, that's a haunted house. Certain objects, right? This was used to kill people or something. So yeah, he's on this board. I really love, that's what I had up here where we were looking the other night, where somebody else is asking the same thing, like, is Al Shockley the real villain of The Shining? And I loved it because I was like, that's what we're saying, that's what we're like deducing, that's what her intuition is so good. Jesus, the mom, Wendy. I can't believe that. Wendy's intuition is so great that we mentioned in another talk, like the horrifying ending in 1984. Like, he loved Big Brother. Like, she likes Al Shockley at the end. Yeah. Al Shockley came in and helped her, but it's like, but he's the whole reason why you're here. Yep. And he's the one, like literally there, but also like got up Jack's ass for like, making a ruckus about the hotel's history and all that.
But she doesn't know. So
I know she might not actually know.
Danny tells her that Al was mad at Jack, but he's not entirely sure why, because he's 5, and although he heard the conversation, I don't think he quite understands some of the things that Jack was insinuating and how they would affect Al Shockley. Yeah.
But still, it's just her intuition was against all of it. Her husband dies, and she's just, okay with Al Shockley after that.
She's literally broken. Huh? She's literally broken.
Yeah, I mean, actually, she has broken ribs.
Spiritually,
and literally her
physically,
body.
Like, this woman she's just happy Danny's alive. Like, yeah.
We see her in the next book, right? Oh no, she's dead. I forgot. I think that's what it is. Sorry, spoilers,
I actually
guys.
Don't remember.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll leave it that way. We don't know.
I had a concussion when I read these books.
Yeah.
And I admit, I think my concussion was probably worse when I read Dr. Sleep.
I can't make these jokes are too dark. But a dark joke will take your medicine. Like, you make it sound like I need to give like a fucking disclaimer. The concussion induced was not the result of it. She is not being like all of the women in this who make up excuses for their husband.
The concussion was due to DIY.
Yeah, due to DIY projects that are never ending, and she just dumps them on me, and it makes me go crazy.
No, we were putting up an awning, and it popped off the side of the house and fell on my head.
Mm-hmm. Which is spooky in of itself.
It was hilarious.
Okay. We
then continued to install the awning, and I wore a bike helmet.
Yeah, oh my God, that's true. We wore a helmet. We both wore helmets.
I didn't go to the hospital for like 2 days.
Installing this. And our neighbors
no, I had a concussion.
think we do so well for special folk. Yeah, we didn't think you had a concussion.
Yeah.
But there is some hilarious real-world parallel that you were hurt by the home in a sense.
It is hilarious.
Because it's Jack messing with the house the whole time.
I was being the caretaker, with the and the house tried to take me out.
Yike, too close. Where was I going to say?
But actually, it's what triggered me to read the...
I know, to read The Shining. I mean, hello, we're going in, like, circles here. Crazy.
So on the stairs, Wendy and basically Danny are gonna have a little time together. She's gonna tell him, "Look, I really do trust you. I believe you. Like, I believe in Tony." Cause she's
about this imaginary friend. She has no clue that it's him. I mean, nobody else does. Most readers don't even pick that up. Your quote's over here somewhere if you want to read it in full. I know we'd be jumping ahead a lot.
I think she already had kind of told him she believed in Tony.
Mm-hmm.
So when he tells her that he tried to, because she sees that he hurt himself, and when she sees that she's going to ask him, he's going to be like, "It wasn't Dad. I fell off of a chair trying to call Tony." And she's going to ask him, "What did Tony tell you?" And he's going to say, "It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. It was spooky." And she knows.
Yeah. And
so he tells her that Tony can't come anymore. He came that one time. And he can't come anymore because the hotel won't let him.
Yeah. Which is just completely blocked out, which, again, that's so cool. Like, there's physical barriers, but the spirit world works the same way, the same wording used. It's being blocked. It's being, you got the physical block. They said also in town that it was one of the worst storms they've ever seen.
Yeah, it's there. And he even tells her, because she's like, "If only the snowmobile." And Danny tells her they won't let him. Danny said in the same low voice, "They made him throw part of it away into the snow, far away. I dreamed it."
Oh, yeah.
And he knows the woman really is in 217. He looked at her, his dark, frightened eyes. "It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not."
What page is that?
479.
Cool.
And she's going to tell him, "I believe you, Danny, tell me the truth. Is he going to try to hurt us?" "They'll try to make him," Danny said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he tells her she's been calling for Holleran.
Yeah.
But he's not sure because there's no way for Holleran to send a message back.
Mm-hmm. Which is also weird. Like I said, metaphysics, how does that work? Like, he's getting in, he's getting out. Very cool. I just love the breakdown of both, like, space-time. It's playing with time throughout each part, throughout the whole themes of even the writing style, like we said about the bringing up the dates. It's centered around a clock. We're counting down to this moment. Yeah, and then, but also, like, the spirit realm and the physical realm are not finally, separated.
In this hotel at this time, it's starting to really get muddled.
Yeah, time collapses, but also the distinction between spirit and physical realms. Because, like you said, they hear everything, right? I mean, they all.
Yeah,
she's hearing
actually,
everything.
so Danny, he's basically sitting on the stairs as she's leaving. That's
a living sound. Yeah, it's a living sound, not voices, not breath. A man of philosophical bent might have called it the sound of souls. Gribbett might have called it ants. That's interesting.
Haunts.
Oh my God, I'm from the
Southern.
South too. She was born in Tallahassee. A psychic investigator might have a long name for it: psychoecho, psychokinesis, talismic sport, and they call it rock theory, stone tape theory, is what all the ghost people call it. What did you just say? Rock, paper, scissors? Well, what'd you say for real? I didn't hear it. Oh my God, I just read your mind. I didn't actually hear that. I just figured you would say something like that.
But no, actually above it, right on the top of the page, the voice was in his head. So much a part of him, so frighteningly close that it might have been a part of his own thoughts. It was soft and indefinitely sly, mocking him, seeming to say, "Oh yes, you'll like it here. Try it. You'll like it here. Try it. You'll like it."
Yeah.
Now his ears were open and he could hear them again, the gathering ghosts or spirits, or maybe the hotel itself, a dreadful fun house, where all the sideshows ended in death, where all the specially painted boogies were really alive, where hedges walked, where a small silver key could start the obscenity.
Even that, the obscenity, yeah. The key, and then, like we said before, like, Danny's literally the key, and it's a physical key. But what do we mean by literal? They're both real. The mind realm is real. The physical world is real.
Then wait, on the next page it goes, "In the darkened ballroom, the clock under glass struck 7:30 with a single musical note. A hoarse voice made brutal with drink shouted, 'Unmask and let's fuck.' Wendy, halfway across the lobby, jerked to a standstill. She looked at Danny on the stairs, still tossing the ball from hand to hand. 'Did you hear something?' Danny only looked at her and continued to toss the ball from one hand to hand.
7:30 they're getting it on. God damn. Must have an early bedtime.
There would be little sleep for them at night, although they slept together behind a locked door, and in the dark his eyes opened. Danny thought, he wants to be one of them and live forever. That's what he wants, his dad.
Yeah,
Wendy thought, if I have to, I'll take him farther up. If we're going to die, I'd rather do it in the mountains.
It's so...
She left the butcher knife still wrapped in the towel under the bed.
Yeah.
Because the dad's down in the basement. And this is where, in the next chapter, literally in the basement, Jack is going to remember the boiler, the goddamn boiler. Exclamation marks before and after the sentence, like if we're Spanish.
Yeah. Sorry, a quick note there that I wanted to put for the coming future video is... he's putting... It's like, dude, you're dealing with enough themes here, King. With the whole time and all this jazz. But the whole, he wants to be one of them, live forever. Just a classic thing that you pick up in all kinds of media, is that whenever you try and, like, death is scary to us. They always say at the core of all psychology, religion, everything is the fear of death. And so that's scary. But what a lot of good media does is show you that the alternative is worse. Every time you try and live forever, these immortal seekers create monstrous shit. I know, that's your actual real-world philosophy.
Yes.
I have a very good Dharma version. We are supposed to fight death as much as possible. And even if we can live literally hundreds of thousands of years, your ass is going to slip and fall into a sun. So...
Freddie wants to live forever. I do not.
I want to humbly try and not be a maniac, and you gotta sprinkle in there still core principles. You can't sell your soul in the way.
Just go ahead and run yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we're here to live a finite life. Extending it hundreds and thousands of years doesn't sound like a good idea.
I think you need to be in a body, in a physical body. Don't be digitizing yourself. Don't be going on a computer.
I will re-roll.
I know. That is a very sound argument, I guess. I would say. I believe in spirit realm, so it's like if you believe that, then why wouldn't it just incarnate and live forever?
I believe I'm either going to heaven, or if there's reincarnation, I'm okay with the re-roll.
I like the third option is off the table, but okay.
What's the third option?
Don't even think about it. You're right. That's the Giga Super Chad based way to view reality. The only people that go to hell are those that think it's real. Bam.
I'm not going there. I'm a good person.
Yeah, well, see? Sorry I even said it. Now it's in your mind. Hope it doesn't
Not
burn
really.
away at your consciousness.
Not really.
Yeah, I actually do think that's a funny... You can go off the rail, all kinds of cool spiritual researchers and philosopher types. What's his name? Swedenborg. Anyways, the point is, that is such a funny, huge line there. Because he wants to be the manager, but you think... We don't ever get Jack explicitly say that, right?
Yeah, he does.
What Danny says, that he wants to live forever, right?
No, but
he knows that they're
he's
ghosts.
so drunk on the idea of being the manager.
But it's so great. He never says that they're ghosts. He never acknowledges that they're ghosts.
Because he no longer is even worried about that. Like, he has become so drunk on, ironically, not on drink,
yeah, I know, right?
but on this hotel. And he's just so...
on not being a loser too, like he can finally have prestige.
This hotel is playing on everything. It's gonna give him prestige. It's gonna give him a title. It's gonna give him power. It's gonna give him,
which is exactly the opposite. He shits on the little prick guy. That it's a whorehouse that's full of it was a mob run whorehouse, obscure shit in the middle of nowhere. But
he's falling in love with this place. He wants to take care of it. If it wants his son, it can have his son. I mean, he can make another son.
Yeah.
And honestly, Danny...
But also that it can't want the son.
If it wants Danny, it's because Danny should... there's something that Danny needs to give it. Who's he to know why? He's only the manager.
But he also struggles with a ton of... But that it can't want him either. It can't actually want Danny. It must really want him. Yeah. Maybe it's just a test or whatever,
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's just testing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's got what it takes. He's failed at so many other things in life. He could pass this test. He knows because the hotel's told him he can pass it. Yeah. It believes in him.
When nobody else does. You got to believe in people, folks, or then they go off the rails.
I ain't going to believe in this man.
See? You're part of the problem.
No, I would have put a knife in him earlier.
There are a couple amazing.
We wouldn't have escalated to this point.
Yeah, I know that is nuts. Again, my whole point with a lot of fiction, all of it's mythology. Don't
especially up on a mountain where the only other witness is potentially my son. Yeah, you're dead.
Dude, she's referencing a real world point I make that there's a power differential and all these, stupid political sides bicker back and forth. It's like, women, you guys will get away with murder literally, so use that to clean up the streets, folks.
He fell on his knife 10 times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's going to believe, like, I guess so. Why would she?
Even if they don't, like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
He was going to kill me.
Yeah. If a woman says he was trying to kill me, so I stabbed him, how the hell do you disprove that?
Yeah.
And, like, if he's acting crazy and there's other shit.
I was protecting my son.
Yeah. And, Jack has a history of all this violence and stuff. And then you go to the
son and you're like, hey, son, was your daddy acting weird? Yes.
And he's crying. I love daddy.
I was having dreams that daddy was going to kill me. Oh, okay.
And everybody else. And the old caretaker killed his family. He actually went through with it. And is stuck there. It's a great scary thing.
But I know. I get it. If Wendy wasn't the way she was, we wouldn't have a book.
No, I mean, and not just the way, just for the book, but that's how I think it works in the real world. It's like, no, you don't have this combination of traits on accident. Like, somebody like Wendy was all made insecure and crazy by her mother, and so she's accepting, she's not as bad as some of these stereotypical, like, 50s women, whatever, that get beat and just take it. She's not that bad. She's gonna fucking kick his ass and doesn't stand for Jack hitting the kid. Yeah, when he slaps her, and she assumes that he strangled Danny.
Well, even Danny, when he falls off the chair in the trance
so it's not like she's as meek.
She's already kind of probing, like, what happened? And he's like, it wasn't Dad.
Yeah. But she's not as meek as either of the moms is, either Jack's mom or her own mother.
No.
But she is still, like, a little too cool with his insanity.
She's a little too soft for me.
Mm-hmm. And his violent insanity. It's not just, like, sad. It's not that Jack's depressed. Jack is literally violent.
But back to the basement. So, Jack has been down in the basement going through papers again because that's like the way that it hypnotizes him.
Yeah.
So while he's down here, he wakes up and realizes that he's forgotten the boiler, and we hear again this concept of like it creeps. She's rated for 250, but she'd blow long before that. Now I'd be scared to come down and stand next to her at 180. My memory's so good. Anyway,
That was nuts.
I didn't mean to say that's like that, but I am very
We're
proud.
both impressed when we remember. There's a weird pressure to get this right. We know people are listening.
Well, it's not just that. I'm also sometimes like I've been so dead tired, and then this has taken way longer because the baby's had such a rough week
plus.
Yeah. And so I'm just happy I remember all the details the way I do. But anyway, so he remembers he had dumped it the previous evening around 6 o'clock when he first came down. It was now. He looked at his watch and jumped up, kicking over a stack of old invoices. Christ, it was a quarter of five in the morning.
I know. Again, the playing with time at every single level. He's being hypnotized because he loses time. Which is a real thing, and whether it's alien encounters or ghosts or...
We also get a description of him here. He ran to it. His face, which had become thinner in the last month or so, was now heavily shadowed with beard stubble, and he had a hollow concentration camp look. Great description.
Yeah.
So the boiler pressure gauge stood at 210 pounds per square inch.
Yeah.
Literally 250. So 40... pounds per square inch short of exploding.
In the physical withering of his body, again, that there's no separation between the spiritual and physical.
Oh, and this is where I was saying I really think he decided subconsciously. Suddenly a cold and tempting inner voice spoke to him. Let it go. Go get Wendy and Danny and get the fuck out of here. Let it blow sky high.
Where's that?
It's right, go to...
Because that's crazy
483.
Important. Yeah. I was just looking there, but here you go. That's what I mean by there are multiple forces here. It's that's the same thing,
like
spirit,
almost like
whether it's his spirit,
whatever
Holy
sober
Spirit.
him, whatever piece
Yeah.
of him wants to protect his family, it's
Yeah.
still trying to get through and is like, this is it. This is like the only way. If we can all forget this, because I have a feeling that it's almost like a part of him is being possessed and a part of him is fighting back.
Yeah.
And it realizes like, okay, this is it. Like if I'm losing control of myself and I can't, this thing is taking over my body and my mind, I could just tuck this away. Like,
yeah. But
Yep.
it's everybody is at the natural state, this kind of dualistic worldview. We think there's good forces and bad forces. We think we could do bad things, we could do better things. So whether it's just us or it's culture, it's whatever, or there's actual spirits, whatever it is, it's like, but obviously in this world, it could just be him. It could just be the good part of Jack, the same thing that came through at the end that made him
I think
whack
it is.
himself.
It's that same.
Yeah. But that's what was inverted. You know, we saw the exact opposite when he says that he has bad luck, when he finds all the parts for the fucking
Like, oh, he has such bad
snowmobile.
luck. Every time his luck is, he feels like something's going for him, something bad.
Yeah, that was
like,
clearly good luck. It was going
Yeah.
to save him, but he sees it as bad luck. Yeah, but that's great.
but
That
and,
he,
and
even
actually,
this late in the book, he still
there's
has
a
that
part of
coming
him
through.
that's still trying to.
Yeah.
And if you continue, so he's going to basically picture the. Sorry, I'm getting adjusted in my chair.
Yeah. you're good.
But he's going to basically picture the hotel burning. He's going to say, "Burn, baby, burn." In 12 hours, there would be nothing left but the bare bones.
And that's
The
where-
needle on. So this is 45. 'Cause he's going to
yeah, right, I
picture
see the
like
flames.
all of it burning. The needle on the gauge has moved up to 212, so it's building so quickly.
Shh, Ben.
Come, Ben.
For one, that's very creepy. Our dog. Shh, Ben, come.
Come, Ben.
Our dog wants to bark into the darkness.
I don't
Help.
know why you're barking.
Help
He's
me.
actually not even barking. He's growling.
He just does a
at
growl
nothing.
while we're reviewing spooky books. Spooky spooks. That's scary. Yeah, there's nobody outside. We're checking all the cameras.
He didn't see, he didn't hear. Frozen with his hand on the valve that would dump off the pressure and damp the fire, Jack's eyes glittered from their sockets like sapphires. It's my last chance.
Yep. You're highlighting all this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The only
Okay.
thing not cashed in now was the life insurance policy he had taken out jointly with Wendy in the summer between his first and second year at Stovington. $40,000 death benefit, double indemnity if he or she died in a train crash, a plane crash, or a fire.
Yeah.
Seven
Just so dark.
come 11 die the secret death and win $100.
Yeah.
A fire, $80,000.
Which is.
They would have time to get out. Even if they were sleeping, they would have time to get out. He believed that.
Yeah. Oddly, I don't know, heroic, whatever you want to call it. He knows he's fighting literally a supernatural, superhuman
And I think he knows he's losing.
entity. Yeah. And if you're going to go out, he can destroy it. He can also sense it's connected to the house. And so for a guy that we're going to critique as he's so up his own ass, he's literally going to be an American treasure. He's going to write the best book ever. He's going to be super famous, or he'll be the manager of the greatest place on earth. But at least, he's willing to blow himself up.
Yeah.
Literally die a fire explosion death.
and-
Because this is $80,000 in the 70s too.
Yeah.
So that's a house.
Also from this, he's going to go to like a memory.
Mm-hmm.
Come, Ben. Come. He's going to go to a memory of his dad out in an apple tree, and it's going to be him burning, I think, a wasp nest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Insane fire will kill anything.
Yeah.
Which, again, the ancients all see that. You can get super symbolic here with the myths with Prometheus brings us fire, and you could see that as almost atheistic, or at least promoting humans to be above, to get out of the bullshit from the gods. From the Greek point of view, the gods are not like in Christianity or the Abrahamics, that they're just like great good beings, superhumans. It's like, no, they're flawed and maniacs, all the Greek gods. So it gives us fire.
So right under that fire will kill anything that you highlighted, you actually get, so this memory is almost like hypnotically bringing him back where the hotel wants him. Jack suddenly started. He'd been dozing off, and he had almost dozed himself right into Kingdom Come. What in God's name had he been thinking of? Protecting the hotel was his job.
Great.
He was the caretaker.
Mm-hmm. Which he's not. He's a reporter. Like you said, he went from investigative reporter who's going to expose the hotel.
Well, he went from just the guy that was just going to take care of this place for a season.
This was a dumb jackass job.
To the guy that was going to write and get all the dirty laundry out.
With picture section and everything.
To, God, he loves this place. He can't let something happen to it. Is he crazy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
He literally
and it's so subtle though, King's right. Like it's
the boiler's so hot that it's going to literally blister his hands.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's so cool. Yeah, I see that the word unveiled him. The clanking sound. Yeah, the pressure gauge. He was going 90 miles an hour and a whistle broke in a scream. Blow now 160. Yeah, so he's just bringing it back down, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looked at his hands and saw that blisters were already rising in his palms. Hell, with the blisters,
he gets it all the way back down to 80.
Shakily. He had almost died with his hand on the throttle, like Casey the engineer in the wreck of Old 97. Worse still, he would have killed the Overlook. The final crashing failure.
Oh, where's that? Because he's literally saying...
It's all continuing right after the wreck of the Old 97.
Yeah, okay.
He had failed as a teacher, a writer, a husband, and a father. He had even failed as a drunk. But you couldn't do much better in the old failure category than blowing up the building you were supposed to be taking care of. And this was no ordinary building by no means.
I told you over the breakfast table, don't worry. We're gonna keep it, because she gets worried that our good little rants off if here we might forget them. And this part was so cool because he literally said letting down the hotel would be the worst of all. Would be worse than being a failed writer, husband, or father. You know, like you couldn't do much better in the failure category than to blow up the building you're taking care of. It's like, no, and it was no ordinary building. Like, he sees it as special and unique and literally above his role as father.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But it's perfect. But even he's self-aware to go, he needs a drink. Like, he knows he's losing it. He knows he's dealing with too much weight. Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, so at this point, he wouldn't trust it at more than 100 psi for the rest of the winter.
Mm-hmm.
If they're a little chilly, they would just have to grin and bear it.
Yeah. Which is so cool, too. You know, haunted places are usually colder. They always point out.
Yeah.
And so, like, as a living being, you want to be warm. And so he's slowly dying there. It's slowly fading.
So he's open to blisters.
And he's putting the house's comfort over his family.
Well, yeah.
Like, literally.
He remembered bottles glittering in the shadows. He saved the hotel. The hotel would want to reward him. He felt sure of it. He took his handkerchief out of his back pocket and went to the stairs. He rubbed at his mouth. Just a little drink. Just one. To ease the pain. He had served the Overlook, and now the Overlook would serve him. He was sure of it.
Yeah, I'm at the dream.
Yeah. His feet on the stair risers were quick and eager, the hurrying steps of a man who has come home from a long and bitter war. It was 5:20 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Wait, where's that?
That was the end of it, right before. It's literally that little paragraph right before the chapter's over.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, jeez, how'd I miss that?
So
yeah,
daylight.
41 is daylight is the dream where Danny sees him on fire. I know, and I love that he says that he describes the tightly packed branches like skeletons of dismembered corpses, like the trees, because they are alive, the topiaries. And his dad's all on fire.
Where's our ghost chasing dog?
I don't know, and I'm cold. So this is all very spooky ending to this very spooky book. Okay, King, I don't want to, I get how beautiful you're not separating the physical from real, but we don't need this book. Keep this book separate from life. Please. The dog is spooked. He's literally milling about, confused looking. This is just all his long nightmare, right? About his dad. Yeah, it's all blow down.
He actually goes into his dad's mind. Danny pushed a little harder trying to get inside his father. It was not good because Daddy was thinking about the bad thing. He was thinking how good just one or two would be. I don't care. Son's over the yardum somewhere in the world. Remember how we used to say that, Al? Gin and tonic, bourbon with just a dash of bitter scotch, and soda rum, and Coke Tweedledum, and Tweedledee, a drink for me and a drink for thee. The Martians have landed somewhere in the world, Princeton, or Houston, or Stockley, on Carmichael, some fucking place after all. 'Tis the season, and none of us are. Get out of his mind, you little shit.
And where is that?
The house,
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Try and tell me where.
Yeah,
no, I got you. Yeah, 491. And that's the get out of his mind, you little shit, has to be the hotel.
It's the house. He recoiled in terror from the mental voice, his eyes widening, his hands tightened into claws on the counterpane. It hadn't been the voice of his father, but a clever mimic, a voice he knew. Hoarse, brutal, yet underpointed like a vacuous sort of humor.
Yeah, with a vacuous sort of humor. Hoarse, brutal, yeah. So he's really describing this entity.
Why?
I know. And why did it go so many times? It's like the third time it's done that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There's a random click in our house that we don't know what it's connected to, which is we got to read that other book. The one they made, the Hill House, Haunting on Hill House or whatever.
No.
The whole thing with the room, because we watched the show on Netflix, which is great. So I mean, there's probably huge spoilers. So it's the opposite of us doing The Shining. We didn't watch the Shining movie. But yeah, I'm like, there's just whole sections of the house where like, I don't know what's up there.
This was creepy enough.
Yeah, it sure is. It's literally done it 3 times.
So
anyways,
Danny's going to go out to the hallway, and he's going to see a dog man.
Yeah. The dog man has been brought up a bunch. We were joking. It's kind of like a furry. But it's from the 50s, or from the 40s, really. 45, 7, right? Yeah, 47.
Yeah, he began to growl at Danny. 493. He was grinning, but the growl was real. It was deep in his throat, a chilling, primitive sound. Then he began to bark. His teeth were also stained red. He began to crawl toward Danny, dragging his boneless tail behind him. The costume dog's head lay unheeded on the carpet, glaring vacantly over Danny's shoulder.
Yeah.
Let me by, Danny said.
Strange.
I'm going to eat you, little boy, the dogman answered, and suddenly how do you say this word?
Oh, I know. Fusillade?
Of barks came from his grinning mouth.
Yeah.
They were human imitations, but the savagery in them was real. The man's hair was dark, greased with sweat from his confining costume. There was a mixture of scotch and champagne on his breath.
I love it. Danny knows that.
Yeah, his small red eyes were fixed attentively on Danny's face.
I don't.
He continued to grin. I'm going to eat you up, little boy, and I think I'll start with your plump little cock. It's literally to keep Danny here.
What do you mean, like,
because
scared?
While Danny's trying to go down to his dad he went out from the basement, and he's going to be headed into the bar. Remember that?
Yeah.
So this book has like time stacking itself.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, but
so if Danny had made it down there, he probably would have been able to intervene.
No, I mean, why is it a dog? And why does it have this kind of
Oh, because these were actually people. So this was part of that masquerade party. Remember that lady was dressed as a cat?
No, but he is like exceptionally in character. Most of them just have a mask, no?
So this dog character is brought up later when Jack is in the like downstairs.
Yeah.
And he's hanging out with the hussy.
Yeah.
As I call her.
And that's when he's on the chain, and they're making a whole thing about little.
He's just like he's Henry's little.
I think it's supposed to be a show and warning of what Jack would actually become. You try and outsmart and fit in with the devil, and he's gonna make fun of you with his boys.
Yeah, you become the lapdog.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Because there was a part where he accuses Al of treating him like that. Like, you want me to fucking bark, roll over like I'm your little dog? So I'm like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I do like that.
And
that makes sense.
Okay. But, yeah. But something
and
with the homo pedo kind of angle
sends.
here. He's like, with the whole, your little cock. Like, he's talking to him.
I think he's just
to be creepy as possible. Yeah.
And also, like, that night they had a big orgy, so.
Yeah, I know everything's got sexual undertones. overtones.
I mean, he might be a pedo. I don't know. But
I know, yeah.
But these are also supposed to be painted as like, kind of like,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm
Super
looking
elite,
for? Where they're like into a cult, like.
Yeah. There are these little groups that meet up, and
Yeah. So
there's nothing
we don't know.
immoral. They're going against every kind of moral restriction.
Yeah.
You know, big parties, group sex, drugs, drinking. And so why not throw that in? And who was Derwent? Who was Henry? That was the old owner, right? Or something? Yeah, the guy that he suspects still owns it. Because Jack kept asking if Derwent was still an owner, right? Yeah.
If he's still involved, and Al said he couldn't answer that question.
So, of course,
And it didn't matter.
really you could add is Al and that guy still or that family at least. Some secret
For all we know,
society.
Al is that guy.
Yeah, that's a good point. God damn. Al Shockley is...
Because, like, how old is that guy
Yeah.
that he would still be involved?
Yeah.
Like, how old is the hotel?
Derwent or is Derwent?
Now, Danny
Put
realizes
in a
that
note.
only he can hear this dog man right now.
Yeah. Dog man.
But, he basically realizes the dog is not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't it pee or do something weird? Do they make it act like a
He
literal
puts
dog?
the head back on and, like, prances around.
And he whacks him in the nose, right? Something. It's really demeaning. And you're at a fucking sex party, man. You're supposed to be doing drugs and having an orgy, and you're in a dog costume.
On 495, Danny went back to the bedroom and sat down on his cot, covering his eyes with his hands. The hotel was running things now. Maybe at first the things had happened had only been accidents. Maybe at first the things he had seen were like scary pictures that couldn't hurt him. But now the hotel was controlling these things, and they could hurt. The Overlook hadn't wanted him to go to his father. That might spoil all the fun. So it put the dogman in his way, just as they had put the hedge animals between them and the road.
Yeah. And I guess just animalistic creepiness, horror.
Yeah. There's nothing creepier than
Yeah.
a weird dogman in a suit with, like, bloody teeth.
Yeah, it's a gross kind of... It's chimeric.
And, like, red eyes. He's got, like, red eyes and shit. Like, it's not a nice-looking dog.
A lot of religious people point out, like, the chimeras, like, the Egyptians always had, like, half human, half animal, like a lot of the Middle Eastern in general, the Mesopotamians. But the point of that is, like, that's not God's good creation, so you're, like, going against... they're going against moral laws, and they're even going against, like, distinction of species. Like, this is a human-dog mix, human-cat mix. So it's like... Maybe he's trying to play with that too. I think it's mostly, though, that it's just the lapdog is just a visual for being a subhuman.
Yeah, right now we don't get it so much, but later we do get this super, like, this character is talked about. Because
he always, the granddad, Danny's granddad, so Jack's dad, would call them, you're like a weak pup, you're like what does he call him? He calls him some special... Basically, he's a runt. He's like a runt of the litter. Like a pathetic dog. So that's in his subconscious there for fates if he does kill his family and get into this little mini hell of the hotel. Will he be actual manager, or will he be a dog who gets smacked in the nose and laughed at? The holler in the flight thing, you think this chick had the...
Yeah, right? I think the lady...
I love that she shits on the CIA.
Yeah, she has the shine, for sure. He even says so. So...
Yeah, right? I thought...
when he's, like, leaving and he's grabbing... He doesn't have to grab his bag because he just brought, like, a carry-on.
Yeah.
But he sees her and she gives him, like, a wink, and he's like, she's got some shine to her.
It's sad. It's a little... All the non-NPCs. He's like the NPC meme. Stephen King's like, yeah, if you do, like, interesting shit, if you have a real strong virtu of the ancients, like, then you probably got the shine. Even if they have simple jobs. Like the guy that's on the snowplow, like, he just looks at the world more romantic in the real sense. Like, the super rational, beyond just plain, lifeless view of the world. They have vigor. They have... something.
Oh, Halloran does mention he tried to call the police, like the rangers, to go check on the family, and they were like, well, we lost a family of
That's
climbers
true. There was
out.
a whole thing. Yeah.
He's like, whatever, good luck. And
Yeah.
he knows. He's like, y'all tried calling them. They didn't answer, did they?
Yeah, which
And
does
they were
freak
like,
him
but
out.
it's 9 o'clock at night over here, so they might be sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did something on...
And he does get the, Dick, please come quick. We're in bad trouble, Dick. We need...
Yeah.
And that was all. It was suddenly gone. No fading out this time. The communication had been chopped off cleanly as if with a knife. It scared him. So
Yeah.
he's realizing, yeah, this kid's in trouble.
For a guy like Stephen King, who every single part of this book is so efficient and so... I don't know, it's not... There's a reason for it. Why do you think he brings up this whole random tangent with the CIA thing? I think it's... I'm writing the most insane note of my... Is the CIA any meaning? Spirits? Everything's spirits, man. I'm making fun of it, but I'm like, I don't know. He's so good at every single conversation ends up being something in the future. Like I said, that random throwaway with, oh yeah, those kids that got beheaded on snowmobiles makes you afraid when Dick is flying through the woods. And she mentions that it's the CIA's been at the root of every dirty little war we fought in the century, blah 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 blah. She really thinks that they're the core of all the evil, where you also have the house being manipulating all these lesser spirits.
It's important if you look at also it is the line soldier who ultimately pays for any foreign intervention.
Yeah.
The sharp-faced woman said grimly.
Yeah, so she could be making the parallel of, like, there's intense local fighting, the guy that's actually in the gunfight, but it's orchestrated by people in fucking suits somewhere off in luxury, but I don't know that you can make a parallel. I mean, that would have to be like Satan itself, like, because even the hotel spirit is very much involved in the fight.
I guess if the hotel or Al Shockley was the CIA and...
Yeah, I think that'd be Al here. Al's not...
Yeah.
In a weird way, the hotel spirit
Jack
is suffering.
And Danny and Wendy are the soldiers, the line soldiers.
Yeah, yeah.
And Halloran is the foreign intervention. Or Danny and Halloran are the foreign intervention.
Yeah, they have this special power, like the CIA agent would. Special information, intel.
That's the only thing I can sort of connect it to.
It's kind of, ad hoc. I don't know if that's a great theory, but it is just odd. Where everything else has a deeper meaning.
So, chapter 43, drinks on the house.
Oh, okay. We got that. We've said that a lot, I think. One of the notes here just says, all the realities are collapsing.
Yeah, because you have, he was reminded of the 3D movies he'd seen as a kid. If you looked at the screen without the special glasses, you'd see a double image, the sort of thing he was feeling now, but when you put the glasses on, it made sense.
Yep.
All the hotel's eras were together now, all but this current one, the Torrance era. And this would be together with the rest very soon. That was good.
Yeah. The unseen realm, as people call it.
Yeah.
In different religions.
It's literally all starting to physically appear.
Yeah.
So at this point, Jack is being lured into the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And where before we couldn't hear
Lloyd. We're going to see the hussy soon.
Yeah, we're going to see the hussy soon. But before where we couldn't see Lloyd, or hear Lloyd, now we're actually going to have dialogue from Lloyd.
Yeah.
Like he's actually there and we can all hear him. Like, no charge to you, Mr. Torrance, Lloyd said. Where before all we heard was Lloyd agreed, Lloyd was thankful, Lloyd this, Lloyd that, through Jack. Now we're actually hearing Lloyd speaking to him.
Yeah.
So it's becoming so powerful that we can all see and hear these ghosts.
Yeah. We talked about one of the Asimov books about how there was no character development, one of the ones we didn't like. It's like everything development. Like environment development. Like the ghost development, the side character, everything gets developed further. Like, it's pretty cool, right? I'm like, even the way the abilities work, the magic system, like you might say if it was a fantasy book, like the way that the shine works.
The way that the hotel is becoming more powerful. It's so subtle, but if you're paying attention, you start to realize, like, oh, we're all slipping into this nonsense.
Yeah. the history of the hotel has development. Like, you learn more and more and more, and from everything, from the literal history to the metaphysic of how it works to all of it. Beautiful.
So we have no charge to you, Mr. Torrance, Lloyd said, putting the drink down on Jack's 20. Your money is no good here. Orders from the manager. Manager? A faint unease came over him. Nevertheless, he picked up the martini glass and swirled it, watching the olive at the bottom bob slightly in the drink's chilly depths. Of course, the manager, Lloyd's smile broadened, but his eyes were socketed in shadow and his skin was horribly white like the skin of a corpse. Later, he expects to see your son's well-being himself. He's very interested in your son. Danny's a talented boy. The juniper fumes of the gin were pleasantly maddening, but they also seemed to be blurring his reason. Danny? What was all this about Danny? And what was he doing in a bar with a drink in his hand?
Mm-hmm.
He had taken the pledge. He had gone the wagon. He had sworn off.
Mm-hmm.
What could they want with his son? What could they want with Danny? Winnie and Danny weren't in it. He tried to see into Lloyd's shadowed eyes, but it was too dark, too dark. It was like trying to read emotion into the empty orbs of a skull.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's dead.
It's me they want, isn't it? I'm the one. Not Danny. Not Wendy. I'm the one who loves it here. They wanted to leave. I'm the one who took care of the snowmobile, went through the old records, dumped the press on the boiler, lied, practically sold my soul.
Practically.
What could they want with him?
Mm-hmm. You highlighted that, right?
Yeah.
Practically sold my soul. Yeah. And using it against you. This guy, like we pointed out countless times, he's a liar. He lies in so many creative ways and to himself. It's like, again, with Wendy's simple wisdom, he knows they're after Danny, but then he can rationalize why, they're after him. Just go with your instincts, folks.
So, like, the one time that he's going to try to push back, like, he's going to be like, where's the manager? And Lloyd's going to smile, and he's going to say, what do you want with my son? Danny's not in this, is he? He heard the naked plea in his own voice. Lloyd's face seemed to be running, changing, becoming something pestilent. The white skin becoming a hepatitic yellow, cracking, red sores erupting on the skin, bleeding, foul-smelling liquid. Droplets of blood sprang out on Lloyd's forehead like sweat, and somewhere a silver chime was striking the quarter hour. Unmask! Unmask! Drink your drink, Mr. Torrance, Lloyd said softly. It isn't a matter that concerns you, not at this point. He picked his drink up again, raised it to his lips, and hesitated. He heard the hard, horrible snap as Danny's arm broke. He saw the bicycle flying brokenly up over the hood of Al's car, starring the windshield. He saw a single wheel lying in the road, twisted spokes poking into the sky like jags of piano wire. He became aware that all conversation had stopped. He looked back over his shoulder. They were all looking at him expectantly, silently. The man beside the woman in the sarong had removed his fox head, and Jack saw that it was Horst Derwent, his pallid blonde hair spilling across his forehead. Everyone at the bar was watching too. The woman beside him was looking at him closely as if trying to focus. Her dress had slipped off one shoulder, and looking down he could see a loosely puckered nipple capping out one sagging breast. Looking back at her face, he began to think this might be the woman from 217, the one who had tried to strangle Danny. On his other hand, the man in the sharp blue suit had removed a small pearl-handled 32 from his jacket pocket and was idly spinning it on the bar like a man with the Russian roulette on his mind. He realized the words were not passing through his frozen vocal cords and tried again. I want to see the manager. I don't think he understands. My son is not a part of this. Mr. Torrance, Lloyd said, his voice coming with hideous gentleness from inside his plague-riddled face. You will meet the manager in due time. He has, in fact, decided to make you his agent in this matter. Now drink your drink. Yeah. Drink your drink, they all echoed.
Yeah, that when you will meet the manager in due time, that was just, that's a great, why is that such a great line? That's so simple. I loved it, but I was like, he's talking about Satan. Like you're going to meet the devil. It's a play on like you're going to meet the maker. Like you're going to meet the opposite.
When he drinks the drink, everything is going to basically fall back into place. Everyone's gonna look normal again. Lloyd is gonna be a normal person again. Everyone's gonna start singing. Roll out the barrel and we'll have a barrel of fun. Because the gang's all here.
Yeah. Yeah, all these different lines that are coming through.
And he's going to literally tell him, drink another one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Do it again, please, he said, and pushed the empty glass toward Lloyd. Yes, sir, Lloyd said, taking the glass. Lloyd looked perfectly normal again. The olive-skinned man had put his 32 away. The woman on his right was staring into her Singapore sling again. One breast was woolly exposed now, leaning on the bar's leather buffer.
Yeah, so like you said, this is the woman that is a bloated, dead, zombie corpse woman.
And she's, young and thriving right now.
And he's attracted to her, of course. But it's so perfect. It's like that's what it is. That in reality, it's actually a dead monster. And that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna go. You get the vibe too that he's consciously cheating on his wife too.
Well, that comes later. But the drink was gone in no time, and he ordered another one. Mr. President, I have met the Martians, and I am pleased to report they are friendly. While Lloyd fixed another, he began searching his pockets for a quarter to put in the jukebox. He thought of Danny again, but Danny's face was pleasantly fuzzed and nondescript now. Yeah. He had hurt Danny once, but that had been before he had learned how to handle his liquor. These days were behind him now. He would never hurt Danny again. Not for the world.
Yeah.
So, chapter 44, Conversations at the Party.
Yeah,
he was dancing with the beautiful woman. There he is. There's the hussy.
Yeah, there she is. There's some other point here. I guess that even his horrific past could have saved him when he's having that whole flashback. Like he said, that he hears the snap of Danny's arm, the bicycle.
I almost feel like it was trying to.
Yeah, but
it was almost trying to warn him, yo, you don't remember what all your drinking brought?
Use your bad things to do good things. Don't in a way make it worse.
Don't forget the pledge.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that is the core message of Jesus. Don't let the sins of the past make it so you have a worse future, and you keep holding this shit against each other and keep spiraling down, racing to zero as you hate and don't forgive things. So, but to be fair, he doesn't really hold it against himself there. There wasn't some long deliberation. He does give in pretty quickly. But he has the whole do you think it's Durant saying that he's going to meet the manager, so Durant himself is not, or Derwent?
No, it's not. Lloyd. Lloyd says he's going to meet the manager.
Oh yeah, that's true. But he's not saying Derwent. Derwent's not the manager either.
Derwent, if
he's
Derwent
just the
is
owner, right?
Even if Derwent is a vessel of whatever he is the main vessel.
The main.
It doesn't mean he's going to meet Derwent though. Yeah. The manager is just the hotel taking over his body,
Yeah. But we never really get.
It's that voice that sounds like him that pushed Danny out.
Yeah, exactly. That big black.
It doesn't
amorphous
have
thing.
a form.
Yeah.
Even when it smashes its face later, it's just a collection of all of the. Cause it doesn't really have a physical form. It just takes on it sucks in the forms of others.
Yeah.
The souls or the images or the likeness of those that it eats.
Yeah, which I think makes for a intuitive, more realistic, scary thing. Like I say, this is a little mini hell. It's like a little whirlpool, a black hole, tide pool. It's just locked. Your soul just gets stuck and locked here if you get captured by this thing.
Yeah, it does.
And you could hope for the opposite. That's what maybe these different religions are. And people have these really good experiences. And it's I don't know, maybe that's a local version of that. And
that's why both he and Danny have said that. So you asked, does he ever say about living forever?
Yeah.
And all we really get is the Torrance era will be added to all the different eras that are stuck in the hotel.
Yeah, those important key moments in history that you get to stay in forever.
Does he realize, like, it's not necessarily living forever? They're going to be a ghost? No, at this point, he's so drunk on this place.
Yeah.
No. And especially now that he's been broken and has a drink, like...
But I think that's why his point of view of this existence could be as horrific as... It'd be like a real life, people that have the sleep paralysis shit, see like demons standing over them and stuff, or even the succubus and incubus that like rape you and like that have sex with you in your sleep. These spirit things throughout all cultures, but it's actually, you might have a great time when that's happening, but if your soul gets stuck by that, you're actually suffering while it's using your energy, however our consciousness is formed. It's using that to pull in other people, where you're just a bloated fucking corpse in a tub. Your mental energy, however that works, is being used to seduce future people, to bring in even more people, because like we said, we think he's been fully manipulated since the time in Boston, right? Boston was where they were living? East Coast somewhere, I forget.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know, right? Wherever the school was, he's been manipulated for a long time.
They were just in weren't they in like Denver?
Where the academy was? His little shirt?
Or was it Boston? I don't
so.
remember.
Yeah. Who knows? Either way, you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 44.
So
Conversations
this
at the
opens
bar.
up. He's at the bar. Like, he's dancing with this lady. Time has ceased to matter. The big glass globe on the porch ceiling was on, and night insects bumped and flitted against it. And a part of him, perhaps the last tiny spark of sobriety, tried to tell him that it was 6 a.m. on a morning in December, but time had been canceled.
Where is that, or can you just highlight
that? Refresh if you
Okay,
refresh.
you already got it. Yeah.
I got you. Wait, why didn't it? Okay, time.
No, it's here.
Okay.
I got you. Time had ceased to matter. Perfect. We got King also being more explicit with some of the stuff, which is great writing style. Like letting more deep readers have more fun early on and make theories, but eventually
he's just dancing with this lady that's basically butt naked under her dress, and she's
rough.
like, "We could go upstairs if you want. I'm supposed to be with Harry, but he'll never notice. He's too busy teasing Roger." So Roger's that dog character,
yeah. Which down
that
here is
had
where you
been
get
sent
the
up
creepy
to
part.
make sure that Danny doesn't come downstairs.
Yeah, this part's so weird.
Yeah. In front of Derwent and the girl in the sarong, Roger was capered grotesquely on all fours, his tail dragging limply behind him. He was barking. "Speak, boy, speak," Harry Derwent cried. "Roof, roof, roof," Roger responded. Everyone clapped. A few of the men whistled. "Now sit up, doggy." Roger clambered up on his haunches. The muzzle of his mask was frozen in its eternal snarl. Inside the eye holes, Roger's eyes rolled with frantic, sweaty hilarity. He held his arms out, dangling the paws. "Roof, roof."
Yep. There's a meme that's going around really famous of a kid that sees a furry, probably for the first time, and he like screams and runs away. And everybody in the comments is like, that is
done the same
great
shit.
Instincts. The wisdom of children.
So I just highlighted now, but it says like a couple paragraphs under. Isn't Harry a card? His partner asked him, pressing close again. "Everyone says he is. He's AC/DC, you know. Poor Roger's only DC. He spent a weekend with Harry in Cuba once. Oh, months ago. Now he follows Harry everywhere, wagging his little tail behind him."
What do you think that means? ACD, like he's just running on two levels, and like he's just too simple.
Like Harry is rock and roll, and this guy's just.
No, I don't think. You don't
think it's like the band AC/DC?
No. I don't think that's possible. Let me see. I guess it could, but she's talking from the 40s.
Oh yeah.
That wouldn't make sense.
So what else would it stand for?
I think it just means like he's on two layers, and he's just, alternate current, direct current. So alternating current. I mean, indirect current, and it's just a simpler. That Roger's just on a simple-minded, whereas he's. Harry's a more advanced mind. He's the guy that made this whole thing. He was the original California multimillionaire guy, right? That made the hotel, or at least took it over.
What's interesting is I also see direct current is constant and only flows in one direction.
Yeah.
with polarity that remains the same. DC is a type of electricity that comes from batteries and solar cells. So like if Roger's the DC, he can only suck. Like he also can only live through Henry. Like,
yeah, you're saying like that he needs a battery, or he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. AC/DC is what everything runs off of now. Like that's what was the big.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so like if he's just the DC and like energy only flows in one direction for him.
Yeah.
He's clearly not the one bringing the energy.
Yeah.
So he like needs Harry. Like, as far as not literally, I'm not talking like I don't.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know. We don't. Don't worry, we're not gonna get into electrophysics.
But just because I also don't know that that's what they were going for.
It's just
because later because right after it goes, she googled the shy scent of lilies drifted up, but of course Harry never goes back for seconds, not on his DC side anyway, and Roger is just wild. Harry told him if he came to the mass ball as a doggy, a cute little doggy, he might reconsider, and Roger is such a silly that but like, what would he reconsider other than
not coming to the thing at all, or
no, so Harry told him if he came to the mass ball as a doggy, a cute little doggy, Harry, might reconsider. And Roger is such a silly, just as silly that the number ended, there was more applause, the band members were filing down for a break. "Excuse me, sweetness," she said, "there's someone I just must," and then she like leaves.
Yeah. I don't know if he's trying to play with time, though, that they're going back and forth through time in a sense. They're living in the past and living forwards. That's my only alternating current, going back and...
No, I really think this whole, like, it goes to your, like, saying that, Roger is the dog man, and he could potentially be the dog man.
Yeah, subhuman, and so could Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, losing his humanity and being the little pet to these creatures, really.
Because what we have...
Derwent's not a human.
Because we have that part where almost like, what if Roger had also been given the option, like, you could be manager, and Harry was like, I don't know if you have what it takes to be manager.
Yeah.
So if you come to the mass ball as a cute little doggy, maybe I'll reconsider. Like I don't know if you have what it takes to hang with me, not even manager. But maybe if you come as a cute little dog, I might reconsider.
Yeah.
Like, there's something he's reconsidering, and him coming as a dog, and it's silly that he's coming as a dog.
And then all these secret rich people party groups. I'm saying today, when you see conspiracies online, like, why was this actor dressing like this in public or something?
Yeah, we don't know.
They call them public humiliation rituals, which are like, according to the theories, part of a huge thing to show demand, and what do you know, that actor ends up blowing up, or he got this and that role. And so, like you said, maybe if you're a good little doggy, like literally, like you're treating me like a dog.
Maybe I'll reconsider. We don't know what it is that he's reconsidering. We just know Roger, like, clearly Harry's the one with the power, and Roger is feeding off of this, or needs
and they went
it,
somewhere
or
to
is
get
attracted to it. Like, and so we have right at the bottom and at the top of the page you're on now, up by the refreshment table, Derwent was now holding a tiny triangular sandwich over Roger's head and urging him, to the general merriment of the onlookers, to do a somersault. The dog mask was turned upward. The silver sides of the dog costume bellowed in and out. Roger suddenly leaped, tucking his head under, and tried to roll in midair. His leap was too low and exhausted. He landed awkwardly on his back, wrapping his head smartly on the tiles. A hollow groan drifted out of the dog mask. Derwent led the applause. "Try again, doggy. Try again."
Yeah.
The onlookers took up the chant. "Try again. Try again." And Jack staggered off the other way, feeling vaguely ill.
Yeah.
To what you're saying, like, seeing this man literally bend over backward, hurt himself, humiliate himself, and he's just becoming like he doesn't realize he looks like a dog.
Yeah, and that's what Jack looks like.
Yeah. As he's literally putting his family before after the hotel.
Yeah, freezing them. And literally cutting off, going even lower than he wanted to, just to make extra sure the boiler doesn't explode.
But the hotel can sense that something
it's bothering
is
him.
Yeah. Actually, we have here.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry,
Jack
Jack.
said thickly. He suddenly felt closed in and claustrophobic. He wanted to get out. He wanted the Overlook back the way it had been, free of these unwanted guests. His place was not honored as the true opener of the way. He was only another of the 10,000 cheering extras, a doggy rolling over and sitting up on command.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we have the introduction of the next character, which is, in fact, Grady.
Yeah. Who, has to come in to relate to him. Somebody that's closer to his era.
And what's
Literally right
creepy
before him.
is he's going to ask him, weren't you once a caretaker here but he couldn't finish. He couldn't say, why no, sir, I don't believe, sir. But your wife, your daughters. My wife is helping in the kitchen, sir. The girls are asleep, of course. It's much too late for them.
Mm-hmm.
You were the caretaker. Oh, say it. You killed them.
Yeah.
Grady's face remained blankly polite.
Yeah.
I don't have any recollection of that at all, sir. His glass was empty. Grady plucked it from Jack's unresisting fingers and set about making another drink for him. There was a small white plastic bucket in his cart that was filled with olives. For some reason, they reminded Jack of tiny severed heads. Grady speared one deftly, dropped it into the glass, and handed it to him.
Yeah.
But you're the caretaker, sir, Grady said
and let's
mildly.
pause right there real quick. We'll come back for a quick baby break. We're back. Baby's all right.
Yeah.
You were saying I literally had to cut you off mid-sentence there. Poor baby.
I don't remember. Oh, that he's
You're
the
up
caretaker.
there. Yeah, the caretaker. I love that. I'll just add that. So we get to see what it looks like if you are captured. Your reward is that you don't even remember anything, any of the bad parts. You're just chilling at this kind of weird party.
I mean, in his mind, and probably his daughters and wife are there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, does it just...
Or does it only take you and then play with your mind?
Yeah, I know how much you love Lovecraft, and if you listen to our last talk, it didn't go very well. She's going to read more Lovecraft, we'll see. But the whole idea that there are entities that are so much stronger than you that they just manipulate your mind completely.
Yeah.
So, like, what if, like you said, what if the wife and kids, their body has literally been massacred, but they're stuck in this weird infantile matrix where they don't even have free will?
That's literally what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So whether his wife and kids are actually there or not, he's going to tell Jack, look, you need to discipline your kid. I had to discipline my kids. And it's interesting because we find out how his family dealt with his psychosis, Grady. And he says he needs to be corrected, Danny, if you don't mind me saying so. He needs a good talking to and perhaps a bit more. My own girls, sir, didn't care for the Overlook at first. One of them actually stole a pack of my matches and tried to burn it down.
Yeah.
I corrected them. I corrected them most harshly. And when my wife tried to stop me from doing my duty, I corrected her.
Yeah.
He offered Jack a bland, meaningless smile. I find it a sad but true fact that women rarely understand a father's responsibility to his children. Husbands and fathers do have certain responsibilities, don't they, sir?
Reference to all mothers have the shine, Halloran thinks. And it's like, they call it the female intuition, feminine intuition, instincts. Being attuned, I think psychic expression, a lot of people think is a little higher. So it's interesting that, like, the little girl had this intuition, and Wendy throughout this whole book has the idea that, that what you should do, just leave.
I have a feeling Grady's daughter, at least one of them, had the shine.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the one. If not together, they teamed up to try to burn the place down.
Yeah, because something similar with Danny. Like, who did it want to get?
One was 6 and one was...
Yeah.
I want to say like 3 or 9. They were only a couple years apart.
And you get this holy spirit / intuition / something.
And there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
So imagine if Danny had someone close in age.
But what make her try to purposely burn down her house? That's pretty crazy. So.
For sure, she has to have either started seeing that the house was going to do this to him.
Yeah.
Or had someone like Tony come to her and try to save her.
Yeah.
Not Tony,
her
because Tony's
future
just
self,
Danny, but future self, or just someone else with the shine, or some other, like, we don't know, because that could honestly be its own book.
Must have been there too, right?
That would be its own book with the sad ending.
For sure, Jesus Christ, yeah. Halloran, and what a horrific ending! Because if we got into this, where they all wake up, like, isn't this great? And have your omelet, like eat your food, eat up, like where they're trapped, where he's trapped them too. I think that's what.
If they're trapped, because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that they are though, because
Mhm.
Danny's terrified of all of them being trapped.
I just think it makes sense for this kind of
It would
metaphysics
just
the way
suck.
it would work.
It would suck all their souls.
It atheist types and like you think the world's horrific.
But would it wipe you? Like, would you be okay with it?
That's why I get so bored.
Or would they become forces within the house trying to save? Like, would they be actively working within the house? And that's how Tony's able to break through every now and then. They're able to create
yeah.
holes, or they're able to warn you, or they're able to give you that 1 second. They're probably nowhere near as powerful as the house, but maybe together they're able to work.
Dude, it's the
behind the
same
scenes.
all the way up and all the way down. Like don't see it as there's only one heaven and one hell and that's it,
Yeah.
and one God. It's like just like we all have levels of free will and power over each other, right? You're gonna just go
But
kidnap
they're probably
somebody.
still somewhat, on some level, controlled by the house. So like they're probably
Yeah.
limited in what they're able to do.
Their
too.
own mind and their own
Yeah.
time, but you could like the way that culture controls us a little bit, or our own day-to-day requirements, our own bodily function requirements. The house is manipulating them, but like you said, I would think that they can't just be completely dominated. So like the good luck that he has when he finds the snowmobile parts, any time that the light side comes through, it might be because the equivalent of angels or demons.
Yeah.
Dark
trying
side gets
to-
through because of other dark souls that have died and been captured, and the light comes through from good people trying to help. You could literally view your whole life that way, like scare, like in your own house, people, the ghosts, whatever, your neighborhoods.
We do have Grady saying that they didn't love the Overlook as I did. Grady said, beginning to make another drink. Silver bubbles rose in the upended gin bottle.
Mhm.
Just as your son and wife don't love it, not at present anyway, but they will come to love it. You must show them the error of their ways, Mr. Torrance.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. He did see he had been too easy with them. Husbands and fathers did have certain responsibilities. Father knows best.
Mhm.
They did not understand. That in itself was no crime, but they were willfully not understanding.
Yeah.
He was not ordinarily a harsh man, but he did believe in punishment, and if his son and his wife had willfully set themselves against his wishes, against the things he knew were best for them, then didn't he have a certain duty? A thankless child is sharper than a serpent's tooth, Grady said, handing him his drink. I do believe that the manager could bring your son into line, and your wife would shortly follow. Do you agree, sir? He was suddenly uncertain. But if they could just leave, I mean, after all, it's me the manager wants, isn't it? It must be, because why? He should know, but suddenly he didn't. Oh, his poor brain was swimming. Bad dog, Derwent was saying loudly to a counterpoint of laughter. Bad dog to piddle on the floor.
Yeah. That's
So almost like the hotel's reprimanding him
Yeah,
for trying
through.
to break free.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, we're still seeing him trying to save his family.
yeah.
Even through all this. Even while he's like 1 foot in / mentally in the full realm here.
Yeah, your son is a very great talent, one that the manager could use to even further improve the Overlook, to further enrich it, shall we say. But your son is attempting to use that very talent against us. He is willful, Mr. Torrance. Willful.
Now, to your point of are they in there and all that? I was like, you could just compare it to like a battery, like energy, like the entity, the dark entity is keeping them placated and calm while it uses their energy for its will. So Danny could just be like in the Matrix, like chilling, having a good time, playing with his little toys all day in some scary loop, and just be stuck like one of these little hell realms, like one of these little people's souls could be just
where it's
stuck
like,
in
I
little
don't know
places.
what happens when you actually are the one with the shine.
Yeah. Does he become, almost Gandalf? Like if he takes the ring, like it's just so much more power. I don't know. Like
That's
if a
basically
person with
the
the
way it's being
shine.
painted out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually get like Jack getting a telepathic message, basically, because what's put into his mind, outside party. Jack asked stupidly, like that's not a thought. Like,
Yeah.
So the hotel is mad because it's accelerating too because Danny's calling Hollerin. So he's bringing in a third party to like try to get Danny away from there. And the hotel's realizing if it doesn't take Danny now, the potential to lose Danny, because Halloran could bring people.
Yeah.
It just means more people, more action up toward the hotel.
Yeah.
And more reason, like Jack could get talked out of having his family up there. They might just take Danny by force. You might get Rangers. We don't know.
Yeah.
So Jack at this point is warned that Halloran is coming.
Yeah.
In worse words than I would use.
Yep. I was making sure. I was like, do not keep reading that word for word. Where?
So I do find it interesting. Grady has like an accent. I think he's almost like, I always picture him kind of British.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I thought that you hadn't even finished high school. That's what they told me. And he's like,
that's right,
the hotel educated me.
Mm-hmm.
Pish posh.
Yeah, no, he's a pish posh fancy pants.
You're a true scholar, Grady said.
Oh, boy. Yeah. If you want to.
Oh, yeah. You want to just skip to that?
Yep. So
he's
and
basically
even over here, I need to
told
highlight this.
firmly he needs to deal with these people.
Yeah. And the on the steel bar.
And he's going to go to the clock in the ballroom.
Mm-hmm. So the steel mallet. But this is what I was saying, that he's seeing them get beaten, right? Let me just read this whole part here. Yeah, because he's seeing a figure get beaten in the glass, right?
Well, first, it's going to go through the same, like if I was a director, I would have the clock do the same exact motions that it did when Danny was watching it and he fell into the trance with Tony.
Yeah.
But when Danny watched it, it was the two ballerinas come out. Like it would click, you'd hear the kook, like the ding of the, hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the two characters would come out. And for Danny, it was the ballerinas that came out in 69.
Yeah.
Obscenely.
Mm-hmm.
So for Jack, what's happening is that it's going to ding and the two characters are going to come out, but it's a man and the other little character is a little boy with the dunce cap.
Yeah, it says fool on his head.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen is that the man has a mallet in his hand and he's just going to start to beat the little boy doll.
But so you get but in Jack's head, the tune is the Strauss waltz that we played last time that everybody knows.
Terrifying.
But so yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Tell us a story.
By the way, the next day, Freddy restarts the computer.
Yeah.
And doesn't realize when he tells Google to reopen all tabs, it included the entire window that tab was under.
Yeah.
And so he comes running to me and he's like, I need you to sit at my computer because I hear music. Because
it started so low that I could only barely hear it. And we're in like full shining mode. And I'm like, I'm hearing the waltz music.
So I sit down and I'm hearing music. And I'm like, what?
I put it together, but I was like,
I thought he was playing a joke on me.
I wanted her to experience how creepy it was at first. And I was like, what am I hearing right now? Like it was so faint. I'm like, to faintly hear the waltz in the middle when you're not expecting it days later.
Terrifying.
Like, holy shit, that was scary. Point is, he hears in his head that like a commercial, buy dog food, woof woof woof, buy dog food. Like, he's hearing dog food jingles. He's the dunce. He's the, you know what I mean? He's the dog, the dunce, the little thing at the whim of. So you have, my note here is mentioning, and it is super violent, and it's also going to foreshadow the mallet. He's beating, ideally to the house, he beats them both to death, right? I mean, is that with the mallet, right? He's
That's
just
what the
bash
house
their
wants.
heads in.
And he's actually, so the house is basically telling him by having him watch this little scene.
Like, this is what to do.
Clockwork Daddy is going
He's Father Time. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean by so that's what my note here. Let me just read my super schizo note here. Time, Chronos, it's real, not just cold mechanical universe, but we are flesh and blood. The hammer on the hands of time beat us violently. So it's just a clock. It's just metal parts going ding, 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 right? Even the figure should just be a little metal figure hitting another metal figure. But it actually explodes blood everywhere. It's super viscous. It's gory. So the gore we use all these metaphors and all these myths and all this shit sounds cute, but we are actual real life incarnate beings that actually suffer from the hands of time. we are beat down by time. We are all this fool, like in this little, the dome glass, like even, like of the thing. Like you even get biblical with like the firmament. Like we're all under this, like we're all under the glass of the earth. And we're all being beat down viciously by time. It's not just like they say that the clockmaker universe, like it's, what if God just made the universe and he wound it up and it just plays out? God doesn't take an active role. He doesn't take, it's like still, even under the deist kind of, like the founding fathers, they're all deist, most of them. Like, God doesn't get involved, and it's like, all right, that's not an excuse. We all still suffer. It's not a clean clockwork mechanism thing. We are thinking, suffering, gory, like bloody beings that are being beaten, like I say here, by the hammer blows of time. So like he says, they're no longer mechanical tink 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 noises of a mechanical hammer striking against a mechanical head, but the soft and squashy thudding sounds of a real hammer slicing down and whacking into a spongy, muddy ruin. A ruin that had once been, and he gets cut off, unmasked, the Red Death holds sway over all. So it's all this countdown, it's the most Gnostic kind of like dark view of this reality, is just a horrific game, and we're all trapped in here, and we are all just being bludgeoned, beaten by superior forces, in this case literally time, father time, disciplining us, beating us.
Also the house just painting a very vivid picture of what it wants him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to run away from the clock screaming.
Yeah.
And this is going to be basically like he's going to run with a miserable rising scream. He turned away from the clock, his hands outstretched, his feet stumbling against one another like wooden blocks as he begged them to stop, to take him, Danny, Wendy, to take the whole world if they wanted, but only to stop and leave him a little sanity, a little light.
Yeah.
And it's around here that he's going to stumble.
What do you mean? Stumble?
Like he's going to fall.
Oh, yeah, he stumbled across the cold, shadowy lobby through the dining room. Yeah. He struck his nose hard on the floor and began to bleed. He got up snuffling blood back and wiping his nose with the back of his hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's... but the bar was fully stocked. God be praised. Glass and silver edging on the labels glowed warmly.
Basically, and he's going to continue to hear roll over, play dead, fetch, play dead, sit up, play dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
because he basically wants another drink.
Mm-hmm.
So halfway on the bar, he lost his balance and pitched forward, hitting his head a muffled blow on the ground. He got up on his hands and knees, his eyeballs moving disjointed from side to side, fuzzy muttering sounds coming from his mouth. Then he collapsed, his face turned to one side, breathing in harsh snores. Outside, the wind whooped louder, driving the thickening snow before it. It was 8:30 a.m.
Yeah. So he's been doing this all night. Like, that's what's crazy.
Well, no, remember he woke up at 6.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So, it's been... So
because one night he was reading the papers until like 5:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah, he basically wakes up at like 5:30, and I believe that it's 6 when he leaves to go upstairs.
Yeah.
From the basement.
And like you said, there's really cool. Literally the next minute, we were getting like minute by minute.
Yeah, 6:45 Holleran's flight.
But now it's at 8:31. I'm saying that chapter ends. It was 8:30 a.m. The next chapter starts at 8:31 a.m. Like, how cool is that for the whole... Again, this whole is just playing with time. But that's what we meant a couple talks back when we said it feels like it goes so much faster towards the end of this book. Like, faster in the sense of we're knowing what every literal minute is going on here at this point. Because it's... the clock is ticking, literally.
Yep. So we're at the airport, 8:31.
I don't think there's tons of important stuff here.
No, this is just...
roll through this.
We're going to roll through this because, it's just him basically
So we already kind of talked about this.
Shine.
And even on 46 with Wendy about her setting up the knife.
Yeah.
Getting basically mentally prepared. Which I was saying, I think this did one of the best jobs of an
Well, what I like about the Wendy chapter is we start to see how she's literally, like, she doesn't just believe Danny. She's gonna start utilizing him. Like, where's your dad?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm
what's the
saying I like
hotel
that
up
she
to?
also
Like,
is still realistic for this character. She's really realistically written. That she doesn't. Is she really gonna kill her husband? Like, what? That's fucking crazy. But the walls are talking. Everything's crazy about this scenario.
she lit that right here on 538. Admit it. It isn't just Jack. He's
I was
just
looking at
the
that.
one solid thing in all of this you can hang the other things on. The things you can't believe and yet are being forced to believe. That things about the hedges, the party favor in the elevator, the mask. She tried to stop the thought, but it was too late. And the voices.
Yeah, because all of these things, that dissolving of the barrier between Halloween, basically the between the spirit and the physical realm. She held the mask. I mean, the mask and the confetti.
Actually, she's the one that threw all of it out of the elevator.
Yeah.
So
It's
because from time to time it had not seemed that there was a solitary crazy man below them shouting at and holding conversations with phantoms on his own crumbling mind, but from time to time, like a radio signal fading in and out, she had heard, or thought she heard, other voices and music and laughter. At one point, she would hear Jack holding a conversation with someone named Grady. The name was vaguely familiar to her, but she made no actual connection. Making statements and asking questions into silence, yet speaking loudly, as if to make himself heard over a steady background racket. And then eerily other sounds would be there, seeming to slip into place. A dance band, people clapping, a man with an amused yet authoritative voice who seemed to be trying to persuade somebody to make a speech.
Yeah. You think that's, what's his name? Big Dog?
Maybe.
The Big Dog, look at that.
For a period of 30 seconds to a minute, she would hear this long enough to grow faint with terror, and then it would be gone again, and she would only hear Jack, talking in the commanding yet slightly slurred way she remembered as his drunk-speak voice.
So, because he's not actually drinking, right?
We don't know.
I know, because in
That's
the last
the
one it
beauty
says
of
it
this book.
was filled, but I think
He will smell it, and Danny will admit. So earlier in this book, he says, like, she had asked him, is your dad drinking? And
not yet.
he says no, but in his
Yeah.
mind he says not yet.
Yeah.
So the issue with the hotel, like, and the beauty of this book is that we don't know if Jack has had a physical drink or if the hotel's just getting him drunk off its power.
But it
because the hotel's also able to materialize
exactly.
things.
So I'm like, because I think that's what it could have been trying to get to over here. But the place was empty, but the bar was fully stocked. So was he really seeing the alcohol there? Like,
I
looking
forgot.
at it, he would seen just another drunk, fresh off the wagon, with his bloody nose, untucked shirt, hair rumpled, cheeks stubbly.
Because when Wendy comes into the bar is empty.
Yeah.
And even
Okay.
now, for him, the bar is empty.
But he said the bar was fully stocked here. Like,
Yeah, but when he wakes up, he's going to wake up and it's all empty.
Okay. But like you said, if it could make anything material, then it could make anything. Like the alcohol, perhaps. But like you said, we don't know. I think he is drunk in the spirit realm, the same way you can be, doing a lot of emotions. You can be doing a lot of things in a dream or something like that. I mean, you can literally have nightly discharges, let's call it, for the youths, because of sexy time you had in a dream. So, like, he's physically drunk because he's drinking in the spirit realm.
It makes sense that they're not really real drinks because they keep just pumping it into him. And it seems like whenever he drinks, like, they remain normal. Whereas if he tries to fight the drink, they start to become those, like, ghostly, more zombie-like.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just laughing at, for people that really don't like that angle or this, it seems really odd, like the Big Bang, like, material, where did that come from? And so, like, this is just an extension of, we don't know where any matter comes from at its core. So even the confetti and the mask to the Big Bang itself.
Drunk, creepy as Jack is running around. There have been all kinds of sounds and voices, and she needs to go get food.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the hungry part.
And so, like, at some point, there's, like, a shutter that's been come undone.
There's lots of memes making fun of
Like-
dudes here. I would like to make fun of women here for a change. How funny is that? She's like, but I need a snack.
Oh, this entire thing, I was like, really?
I know, like, dude,
Like,
I think we can do a fast.
we
Let's do a
can't
quick.
we can't just wait till this man shows up at the
Some
door,
demon's
and
gonna
at
leave.
least I know where this dude is.
Yeah, but I literally, you can just not eat a meal. That is kind of funny. I didn't even think about it from that angle.
Like, they have water.
And even the spiritual angle. Yeah, exactly. I'm like literally fasting for like
And also,
getting
now
demons
you
out.
now you know why I keep snacks everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I know. Keep that knife on you or more. And keep snacks on you. Because you never know when you're gonna be fighting the
So
unseen
she actually
realm.
gets what bothers me is she gets the tray of food and then she's like, I wonder where Jack is.
Mm-hmm.
Because
She's a caring.
this entire time that we've been walking to the food, we've been terrified he's gonna jump up on her, scare her, beat her.
Yeah.
And she's like, she gets her food, and instead of just going right back to the room, she's like, I wonder where my husband is.
What do you call this? I'm sure there's a technical term for the real book nerd types, but I'm like, it's just like
It
a
has been
psychological
over-
thriller.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm like, the horror part is kind of rare, actually, for how people put this at the #1 horror book. For a lot of people, on a lot of
I
lists
do
we saw.
think it's a psychological
Because
thriller, but
of course the violence parts are scary and well written, but this is a pretty good one where you're pretty tense for a long time here, because he can just fucking pop up anywhere.
so she finds him, an overtired child,
Mm-hmm.
knocked
Yeah,
out.
this is where we see the thing.
And this is where he grabs her by the ankles,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think he's gonna like actually try to choke her.
Yeah.
And
He
then
does.
basically Danny's gonna come running.
What page are you on? The-
544.
Yeah, I was just there. I don't see. But
She's-
yeah.
She
Yeah, I
stared
mean, we
at him,
talked about
unable
that.
to speak. He was gonna kill her,
Mhm.
and then he was going to kill Danny. Then maybe the hotel would be satisfied and allow him to kill himself, just like the other caretaker, just like Grady.
Mm. Yeah, that's where she puts it together, right?
Yep.
Like I said, there's development of all things, not just character development, or at least the mental.
Because he starts to say that she's turned his son against him.
Mhm.
Here's Danny coming running. Daddy, stop! You're hurting mommy.
Yeah. Yeah, where does he actually hit him?
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, right.
remember. Oh, there it is. Sightlessly, with the last of her strength, she groped for the bottle's neck and found it, feeling the greasy beads of wax against her hand. Because they used to have empty wine bottles that they
Yeah.
put candles in for
Oh, okay.
ambiance.
Yeah. What page?
546.
Oh, okay. Yeah, real far back.
And so it came squarely down on Jack's head.
Yeah. I remembered the bottle. I didn't remember the wine bottle. Yeah, and that just knocks him out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they're going to drag his ass to the pantry.
Yeah. Which again is so good, quick thinking. Because the whole idea, he can stay in there for literally weeks, months, I guess. Really, all the food's there.
The whole idea is
Yeah.
they're just going to keep him in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny says it's like putting him in jail. She said only for a while. Because at this point, Danny was like literally having a meltdown.
Yeah.
He's like muttering like, Daddy hurt you. Daddy
Yeah,
hurt
yeah.
you. Daddy hurt you.
Oh, I know.
She's like, Danny. And he's
gone
like,
nuts.
sleep, sleep, night, night. She's like, no. So she's like, hey, snap out of it.
Yeah.
I need you. It's just the two of us. And I know you're 5, but you're going to be very grown up
Yeah,
right now.
really. And she stresses here that the Overlook has gotten into your daddy.
Yeah.
You understand me? Like, he does.
Yeah, because basically she wants him to understand, like, she still loves Jack, and this isn't them against Jack. This is all of them against the hotel.
What do you think the bad...
It's a very,
Yeah, it's
the bad stuff is the drinking. It always is the drinking.
yeah, but it says, but no, the hotel put it here. So is that the stocked bar, right? So that we have a physical stocked bar.
She knows that there's no alcohol, but Danny's telling her he's drank.
Yeah.
He's been drinking, and the hotel made him do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I mean by there's physical... She can see it.
No, she couldn't. Danny's telling her.
Okay.
The bar is empty.
Okay.
It's just the smell of him.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's just over here. It says that the bar was stocked. That's what I was saying back on that other chapter. That's why I'm wondering, did it just materialize drinks on him? It gets into a problem with... But I think King actually makes it make sense because it is a time thing. It can only... The same way all the ancients had holidays, like days of the year really mattered to do stuff on. As we get closer to December 2nd, that's when shit kicks off. And if you have the right people there, whether it's shine requirements or what.
Yeah, see, because her hands touched a bottle, one of the straw-wrapped wine bottles that served as decorative candle holders.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's going to literally try to figure out... Because she can't see. Like, they don't see any other bottles.
Okay.
Because why wouldn't you grab a bottle of something full? Slam it on his head?
Yeah, it's just the nearest thing, I imagine. It was quick. But the hotel put it here. As you said, none of it was here before. The hotel put it here. The hotel made him drink it. And he said he was so happy to see that it was a stocked bar.
I guess.
God put it, thank God. Whatever, it's not a big deal. It's interesting. And even if it is left mysterious, it's pretty great. We still didn't find your where's your thing that you highlighted? Or was that last talk? Your whole I guess it was the last part. You already went over that.
Which last talk?
No, I was thinking about when he got hit by the car and all that. The George.
George.
Yeah,
No, that was in the last talk.
Yeah, we'd covered that. I was making sure. Yeah. What are you looking at? What are you thinking? Are you looking for the wine thing or the bottles?
I was gonna, but don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're dragging him to the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Jack stirred again on the floor. I'll take care of it, he muttered. I understand, because the hotel's waking him up and telling him like he needs to beat the shit out of his family.
Mm-hmm.
He's waking up, Mommy, Danny warned. Sobbing now, she yanked at the bolt with both hands. Danny, there was something softly menacing, if still blurry, in Jack's voice. That you, old Doc?
Mm-hmm.
Just go to sleep, Daddy, Danny said nervously. It's bedtime,
Yeah.
Because she's like struggling to get the bolt on, because of course the hotel's not going to make it easy. So she's struggling to get the pantry open.
Yeah. I know. I love that you said that. It's literally the hotel able to affect the turning of the lock. Like, it's clumsy. It's such a... That's why I laughed at King. I don't think actually believes any of this. But it's in the mind of what a worldview would be like for, I don't know, some of these Catholic dudes I listen to and stuff. But all pagans saw the world this way too. Like, it's literally alive.
She's gonna open the door,
mm-hmm.
start to drag his ass in, and he's gonna start waking up. What are you doing, Wendy? What are you doing? She stepped over him. He was quick, amazingly quick. One hand lashed out as she had to sidestep and nearly fall out the door to avoid his grasp. Mm-hmm. Still, he had caught a handful of her bathrobe, and there was a heavy purring noise as it ripped. So that's how quick he was. Yeah. So like some heavy animal. He was up on his hands and knees now, his hair hanging in his eyes like some heavy animal, a large dog or a lion. Damn you both, I know what you want, but you're not going to get it. This hotel, it's mine. It's me they want. Me. Mm-hmm. So she starts shouting at him to shut the door. And as it, basically, they're going to close it, and he's going to hit against it, and they're going to struggle to lock it, but they're going to manage it.
Just going through here.
And he's going to say, let me out. Did you highlight and Danny's going to almost open it. He's going to think about it.
I was just saying, make sure you highlight the part with the... Oh, I got it here. Or a lion or a large...
Oh, okay.
A large dog or a lion. Because it's cool. It's just playing with... Jack seeing himself not wanting to be that pathetic dog character in the costume, but then Danny's really scared of the lion, right? Wasn't it the lion topiary?
It was
that
the lion
him?
topiary.
Yeah.
It's the lion topiary that's also going to attack Holleran.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems to be the bad guy. And it plays with, like you said, like you lose your identity, the blob collective darkness monster. But and you could just argue all those souls are dead. He's not really talking to Grady. He's talking to
the hotel.
Basically an AI, a construct of these creatures.
So we're going to have Danny, they're basically falling asleep in the little room. And, she's like, oh, all three of us will get out of here and we'll go fishing and it'll be a good time and everything's going to be okay. And I love you, Mommy. I love you too, Daddy. And it's going to be, they'll be hearing his dad screaming and they'll even have the record player playing. Yeah. But then it'll kind of stop. Somehow the silence was worse, more ominous, and the screams and the blows against the strong pantry door. Was Daddy asleep again, or dead, or what? Did he get out?
I know, I love that part. Did he get out? Such good, because he paints it so creepily. Like, they're just trying to have a normal-ass life and wait until they can just wait out the whole damn winter, right? That's the plan? And so...
if they have to, but they're hoping someone will notice that they haven't checked in.
Yeah. It is hilarious, though, to know that can't be what happens in this book. And so, but the characters are so well written that they think, yeah, we're just going to wait for months with Dad screaming his lungs off down there. And like you said, what's scarier than Dad screaming? Dad not screaming.
I think her idea is they'll figure out either someone will come for them or her and Danny will be able to regroup and leave.
Yeah, but it's still going to be days.
And then they can send... I mean, he's got food and stuff, so,
No, I know, but just days of him screaming in the background while they're trying to play with their toys. That's such a good creepy factor.
So weird.
They're just playing the records. These old-timey records. And he's just banging away, being possessed.
So going backward a little bit, Jack is in the pantry. And the reason it gets quiet is because the door... through the door, he's actually going to hear Grady.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, but where did the liquor come from? Isn't that really the central point? You know what happens when you drink. You know it from bitter experience. When you drink, you lose your wits.
Hey, I got you. I'm
that was his that whole little thing. Voice nagging at him. But basically, Grady's going to...
He's not wrong here. Living by your wits is always knowing where the wasps are. It's like...
Yeah.
Did you do that? No. You didn't even listen to your wife.
He could begin to sympathize with his father on the next page.
Yeah.
The thing he'd never asked himself, Jack realized now, was exactly what had driven his daddy to drink in the first place. And really, when you came right down to it, what his old students would have been pleased to call the nitty-gritty, hadn't it been the woman he was married to, a milksop sponge of a woman, always dragging silently around the house with an expression of doom or martyrdom on her face, a ball and chain around Daddy's ankle. No, not ball and chain. She had never actively tried to make Daddy a prisoner, the way Wendy had done for him. For Jack's father must have been more like the fate of McTeagle, the dentist at the end of Frank Norris's great novel, handcuffed to a dead man in the wasteland. Yes, that was better.
He finds ways to blame people. What we skipped over was just him. He's literally locked up in a hotel by his wife and son that he just attacked. And he's over here thinking about how Jack Torrance, best-selling author, the acclaimed playwright and winner of New York City's Critics. It's like, where does he say, a Pulitzer Prize at 70 for his trenchant book of memoirs?
My Life in the 20th Century.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny.
That's how he pictures himself.
Yeah, he's probably going to end up a Pulitzer Prize winner. A staple of American literature.
I also love that he's just kind of drunk and eating in the pantry.
And he's eating crackers. It is kind of funny. He's just pure hangover mode.
You have a note here. Why have the son when you could have the father? Why have the son?
Yeah. Where was that?
That was 561.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it here. I'm just wondering why. To become a member of the Overlook staff and possibly to rise all the way to position of manager in time. She was trying to deny him Danny, and Danny was his ticket of admission. Yeah. I'm not sure what I was getting at there. I don't know if I was trying to make a religious parallel.
They do say that was foolish, of course. Why would they want the son when they could have the father? But employers often have foolish ideas, and that was a condition that had been made.
Yeah, I love that I spelled sun S-U-N here. What is that about?
I don't know. Maybe you were half asleep.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. No, I think I was trying to think of something religious. The son being sacrificed, and that was my point back in with Kronos being the bad guy. Kronos devours his own children, and then so on the positive side, you have Jesus giving himself up for us, but a cynical side could be that Yahweh, his dad, so he sacrificed his own son again to like redeem himself, because Jesus is Yahweh according to like Orthodox views. But like to get out of the sin system that he set up, he had to kill his own son. Like to get out of that, instead of just figuring out another way.
Do you think that's?
I don't know. It's his ticket of admission. I don't know if he's just trying to play with some sort of theme like that with the father and the son.
Whether he was or not, it fits.
Yeah. Something might be there.
So Grady basically starts to tease him like, I don't know if you got what it takes to kill your people. To get them in line.
I guess my point, a funny critique of Christianity is always like, it sounds like a simplistic neckbeard critique of Christianity, but it's not. It's like the IQ meme with the lowest and the highest kind of agreeing. It's like, but why did God have to follow his own thing like that? He set up the rules. Like he set up the system where the son has to be redeemed. So there's a force bigger than him. The joke is like, so who the hell's above God that's gonna like enforce this rule against him? He can't just forgive people. You got to go through this whole sacrificial, bloody ritual, and apparently that's how the house works. Apparently the house will give you something in exchange for blood.
Well, so the house twists him so bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's this line here. Maybe we should have, because the house tells him, your wife is turning out to be much more kind of like cunning or smarter than we thought she would be.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have been dealing with her from
Oh
the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah. I love that. You highlighted that, right? I guess my point is that make sure you highlight, and my point is that all of them are blood magic, whether it's voodoo, cutting chicken blood, or you're sacrificing your own kids. A lot of what they say the Canaanites and all that did, and Isaac, right? With the binding of Isaac, with the God was testing him to see if he would sacrifice his son. And then, of course, Jesus is a blood sacrifice. Like, blood has to be spilled in order to bring about these metaphysical changes. And so, that's what we're seeing in the house. Because they all kill themselves. Like, there's death.
Yeah.
What happens in the original party? Like, that whole sex party? How are they still there?
It's just an orgy.
But why are they there?
We don't actually know.
That's what I mean. I think they all fucking died.
Probably.
Because you don't get locked here if you weren't killed. So I think somebody
done did something.
But I wonder how, like a fire, the house doesn't like fires. So no. I don't think it's that. Tommy guns, machine guns, like how do you kill that many people? That's what's weird.
So basically Grady says, you'll bring us your son? Yes, yes. Your wife would object to that very strongly, Mr. Torrance, and she appears to be somewhat stronger than we had imagined. Mm-hmm. Somewhat more resourceful. She certainly seems to have gotten the better of you. Perhaps, Mr. Torrance, we should have been dealing with her all along. I'll bring him, I swear it, Jack said. His face was against the door now. He was sweating. She won't object. I swear she won't. She won't be able to. You would have to kill her, I fear, Grady said coldly. I'll do what I have to. Just let me out. You'll give your word on it, sir? Mm-hmm. Grady persisted. My word, my promise, my sacred vow, whatever the hell you want. If you... And there's a flat snap as the bolt was drawn back. The door shivered open 1/4 of an inch. Jack's words words and breath halted. For a moment he felt the death inside itself was outside the door. The feeling passed. So basically he comes out, the kitchen was empty, Grady was gone. Everything was still and frozen beneath the cold white glare of the fluorescent bars. His eyes caught on the large chopping block where the three of them had been eating their meals. Standing on top of it was a martini glass, a fifth of gin, and a plastic dish filled with olives. Leaning against it was one of the rope mallets from the equipment shed. He looked at it for a long time. Then a voice much deeper and much more powerful than Grady spoke from somewhere, everywhere, from inside him.
Yeah.
Keep your promise, Mr. Torrance.
Mm-hmm. So I think that confirms what I was suspecting there. I'm just writing a note here. Not Grady. It is death itself.
Yeah.
And it has the ability, something... allows it to pop up in your mind. The truth allows the truth to pop up, but then it can quickly distract you or snuff that out. Because he literally said he thought it was death itself outside the door.
Yeah.
The feeling passed. Amazing.
And he goes, I will, he said. He heard the fawning
From everywhere.
servility in his own voice, but was unable to control it. I will.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, he can tell he's slipping, like he's falling into whatever it is.
Yeah.
He grabs a mallet and starts swinging it around at nothing. And Jack Torrance began to smile. Creepy ass smile that.
Yeah, that Jack Nicholson does great.
Yeah, shout
I
out
wish I could type this
to
late.
Jackie boy for
Jesus,
getting
sorry guys. If anybody's watching the video, just me typing.
it. This guy don't know how to write notes.
Yeah, it's late over here.
So Halloran's going up the country. So this is where he's flying. Like he's driving up the mountain. We're gonna get that vision where he's gonna get hit.
Yeah.
It's on page 575. It is not a nice message.
Oh boy, yeah. We don't have to. I'm gonna scroll past that one for the YouTubes.
But it's cool because constantly he's hearing like the people on the radio like you shouldn't be on the road, like don't be on the road.
Oh yeah, that is good.
So he's always snapping the radio off because he's like, I'm not falling for your tricks. So he gets these visions and he thinks, had that happened to the boy, dear God, had that happened to the little boy. In all of the images, the one that bothered him the most was the dull whacking sound like a hammer splatting into thick cheese. What did that mean? Jesus, not the little boy. Not the little boy. Jesus, please.
You think he is super religious, right?
Almost 6:30 now, by the way.
Yeah.
And he was beginning to feel like it was very late indeed.
Yeah.
Because it is nighttime.
You think Halloran is...
I think he's somewhat, yeah.
Because
but it also goes with his southern raising. And
I know. Well, but not being Catholic, though, down in the South. You wouldn't expect that.
Just religious in that he believes in a God and like a...
Yeah, because he seems like kind of a playboy, too, right? It doesn't seem like he has strict Orthodox views here.
But he doesn't seem married or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And his own experience in supernatural, he can't... But he could be Catholic. Like I said, of all of what I know, it seems closest to that kind of worldview. Or Orthodox, like, Eastern Orthodox worldview. I guess, I mean, it's not like the cold, there are no ghosts, Protestant, I know there's a million versions, but it's just interesting to wonder. Because I know they all say Jesus and all this different stuff, and I'm like, that is just how people talk, so I don't want to read too much into that. But then he has the St. Christopher medal, so... And he literally has psychic powers and know that ghosts exist. So he's got to have some sort of supernatural worldview, even if it wouldn't fit.
So we got Red Room, chapter 50. So Wendy confirms that she can hear everything. About a half hour ago, all the noises stopped, which was like doors opening and closing, the elevator, people.
Yeah.
Just...
Yeah, it's alive.
And Danny's asleep.
Like I said, we kind of rushed through here because he got out. I mean, we know he gets out. And and it's just a fight, too. Was there anything more you wanted from the fight? I feel like we covered it. I mean, he just beats the shit out of them.
She does have, on page 580, she actually wonders if he's gotten out.
Yeah.
And she's like...
And she has the knife.
Don't talk nonsense. Yes, he's out. He's gotten a knife from the kitchen or maybe the meat cleaver. He's on his way up here right now, walking along the sides of the riser so the stairs won't creak. You're insane. She was not. Yeah, she's gonna basically... I do love this on page 582. See, no boogies here. No, of course not. They want you out. They want you to do something silly and womanish, and that is exactly what you're doing.
What, out and about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
grabbing the snack.
Technically, if she would have just stayed in the room.
Yeah. I mean, he'd just bust in the room. He would just bust in the room.
Yeah, but at least they can, like, leap out a window or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so the difference
Yeah, they know he's coming.
Yeah, the difference between knowing where your guy is and what weapons he has and that he's trying to kill you and being able to put some furniture in between you and him for a minute while you climb out the window.
It's true. Look, a combo of your tactic, and it sucks. You got to use the sun as bait. Because I think roque mallet, any long thing, is going to be better than a knife in your hand, even though it's sharp and all that.
Also, like, if he's busting through the door, won't I be able to, like, jab the knife at you through whatever weird hole you make in the door?
You could, but I mean, what real damage? I'm like, you got to have Danny over there, so he's bait, so he walks in, and then you stab him in the back. Like, you got to stab him in the back. You don't want to get in a face-to-face fight with you holding a knife and a guy holding a long-range weapon, even if it's just a roque mallet.
So, she's walking around this hotel. She's counting the stairs as she goes down, which is terrifying. She's still hearing.
Because that's because it's so pitch black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had counted them a bunch, so she's counting them to just.
My brain so doesn't want to be scared. It turned the lights on. Like, I see this all with light
as
in my
I'm
head.
literally reading, all the lights in the ballroom went on. It was a huge shrieking flourish of brass.
That's funny.
Wendy screamed aloud, the sound of her cry insignificant against the blare issuing from those brazen lungs. Unmask, the cry echoed. Unmask, unmask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were not alone. It's just so good at playing with
So
it being real, in your mind, and subtle to just overt.
She turned and he was coming for her. It was Jack, and yet not Jack. His eyes were lit with a vacant, murderous glow. His familiar mouth now wore a quivering, joyless grin.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying. On 586.
That's important for, it mentioned that it was humorless. Somewhere a while back we read a part where...
In the beginning, literally he has like a PR smile.
Well, yeah, that sucks. That's true. Humor, Jesus, humor low. It's so late. Humorless. Did it take my note? Because, no, I'm saying when it was describing the evil entity of the building. Where'd my note go? When it was describing
You might have to refresh.
the entity here. I'll leave it. I'll remember.
Well, refresh it.
No, I did. I
Oh.
already did. But I don't know if you remember that part. It said that when it was describing what must be the actual entity, it described it as some sort of humor, like a lack of humor, something like that.
Like a Cheshire cat type grin, or
It wasn't even a grin thing. It was just that it was describing qualities. I'll find it. You want?
don't know if I remember.
I don't know if you want to.
Sure.
She kind of moved a little. It's a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where you get where she
Seems okay.
stabs her. She gets stabbed in the back. Now we say that he could have actually died here. You killed me.
Yeah.
But he comes through at the end. You know what I mean? He comes through and whacks himself with the mallet, right? So.
No, the demon, I think, like whatever this entity is, comes through, takes over, and whacks. So we can get to that quickly.
Yeah.
Because it is taking long.
Yeah. No, we gotta get there.
But basically, Holleran gets there.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be him. Put this under your hood. This is him getting the snowmobile, I think. Yeah, he gets the snowmobile.
To 52.
We find out the town hates the hotel. They feel it has a bad reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So off he goes.
Yeah, they get back up.
He gets hit by the lion.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything to add to that. That was just weird.
I mean, I think it's just the hotel knowing. Like, as far as time, I do wonder if it's around the time that he's getting hit by the lion that the hotel's reporting to Jack. Or maybe not. No, never mind.
That's the king needing to put his own style. I'm like, it's so odd, but at least like ChatGPT won't ever make it. Like, it's so strange.
The opening of this is my super slow motion, because she's pulling
Which
herself
chapter?
up the stairs. Wendy and Jack, chapter 52. And
Oh,
Jack
wow.
is like slowly coming up behind her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're visualizing how the movie's gonna go.
Yeah.
Let's get some pizza tomorrow and watch it.
Oh my god.
Go watch it during the day. You won't be scared.
Tomorrow's like a random Monday.
I know. That's the best time to watch it.
I don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm already at 53. I mean, you don't really have to. We can fly back up into the main fight, I guess.
Yeah. So she goes into the room. She's looking
You
for
just
Danny.
can't stop with this, though. There's a funny line here. The wasp-like buzz of the approaching engine suddenly began to move laboriously down the hallway.
Yeah, that literally is the sound that saves her.
Yeah.
And she somehow knows it's someone's coming, a ranger,
Mhm.
Dick Halloran.
But it's inverted again here. You see how the wasp is now hollering?
Yeah.
Wasp is actually good guy.
We also have this. So in all the images that Danny ever got, there was always a hand limp with blood in the bathtub. But here she collapses on the mattress. So it's the first kind of sign in my mind that we're not reliving whatever dream
Yeah, we're in the
Danny's
current.
picturing. Yeah, you want me to go in and move?
No, she's okay. I can
Okay.
see. Yeah, that we're in the current timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something is already taking us off the track
Mm-hmm.
that of whatever Tony was sending images of.
Yeah.
So Halloran laid low. He's on the snowmobile. He's gonna fight off the lion.
Yeah.
He's gonna dunk it in fire.
It's a big old action scene. It's so
Yeah.
funny that I'm like, I don't know, leave the action scenes for movies and games.
But he's gonna get chased by the other animals, but he's gonna make it onto the porch and he's gonna run through the doors.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna say, "Danny," he cried hoarsely, "Danny, where are you?" Silence came back.
Yeah. That sounded bad that I just shit on action scenes in books. I just mean, like, I always laugh at how I don't know, there's nothing deep to add there. It's just a cool, but,
But what's creepy
straightforward
is
fight scene.
he's gonna keep shouting for Danny. The hotel silence seems to mock him with echoes, which were almost there, sly and oblique. Page 612. On
Mhm.
614, it goes, "Danny, who's Danny? Anybody here know a Danny? 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 Who's got the
Yeah.
Danny? Anybody for a game of spin the Danny? Pin the tail on the Danny? Get
Yeah.
out of here. No one here knows Danny from Adam.
Yeah.
Jesus, had he come through everything just to be too late? Had it been done?" So he ran up the stairs 2 at a time, stood at the top of the first floor. The blood led down toward the caretaker's apartment. Horror crept softly into his veins and into his brain as he began to walk toward the short hall. So this is basically where he falls into the trap.
Yeah.
And this is where Jack had been hiding in the elevator when Halloran came up the stairs. Now he crept up behind the figure in the snow-coated parka, a blood and gore-treated phantom with a smile upon its face. The roque mallet was lifted as high as the ugly, ripping pain in his back. Did the bitch stick me? I can't remember. Would allow.
Yeah. Which, like, who's talking there? Yeah, you highlighted it. I
Yeah.
assume.
And so he hits Halloran.
Yeah.
Uh,
The teacher
and
knows in other people's business.
so then he gets in the elevator and he goes upstairs because he's looking for Danny.
Mm-hmm. Which is so funny to just sit in the elevator going ding.
Well, actually, it stops. The funny thing is the elevator doesn't.
Yeah, make it.
The car had stopped only halfway into the doorway, and he had to boost himself up onto the hall floor, wriggling painfully like a crippled thing. He dragged the splintered roque mallet after him. It's just a funny thing to picture.
It is
And
interesting
creepy.
for the house doing everything from opening the
Like,
doors
you know,
for
he's
him.
like
Yeah.
zombie
Just for
level,
extra
like,
horror effect, yeah.
So creepy.
But I'm like, why would it stop? If the house is in control, the house should make everything as easy as possible, right?
He was a liar and a cheat, and he would have to be chastised harshly.
Yeah, he's talking about Danny, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Because he's like, Danny's 5, and he's thinking if he's left to his own devices, he might do anything like scribble on the expensive wallpaper or deface furniture, break windows.
Burn this bitch down.
Chapter 54. Tony. So
Yeah.
Tony comes to Danny. This is where I was saying.
Oh
he
yeah,
comes
this
to
is
him.
your part.
My
That
part.
we I think we referenced. I think we jumped to here, but where we get confirmation that Danny is him
Yeah,
from the future.
and now Tony stood directly in front of him, and looking at Tony was like looking into a magic mirror and seeing himself for 10 years. The eyes widely spaced and very dark, the chin firm, the mouth handsomely molded. The hair was light blonde, like his mother's, and yet the stamp on his features was that of his father, as if Tony, as if the Daniel Anthony Torrance that would someday be, was a halfling caught between father and son, a ghost of both, a fusion.
Yeah. Which is, pretty cool. But I think we've essentially gone over that.
Yeah, you
And
have to try to help, Tony said, but your father, he's with the hotel now, Danny. It's where he wants to be. It wants you too, because it's very greedy.
Mm-hmm. It does make me excited to read the next one, Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Not too much more spoilers on that. But yeah, he gets chased by
It is cool though, because this is the part. He runs down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where he's stuck. He was trying to get up into the attic, and it's not gonna work.
Yeah. That's where you mentioned that he made sure that Danny couldn't get in the attic.
A door opened with a thin screeching sound behind him. A decayed woman in a rotten silk gown pranced out, her yellowed and splitting fingers dressed with Verdici's verdigris caked rings. Heavy-bodied wasps crawled sluggishly over her face.
Mm-hmm.
"Come in," she whispered to him, grinning with black lips. "Come in and we can dance the tango." "False face," he hissed. "Not real." She drew back from him in alarm, and in an act of drawing back, she faded and was gone. Because he starts to learn, for whatever reason, false face is not real.
Yeah. Just in case there was any doubt. Remember we were wondering earlier if
At least some of the things he can, send them away.
Yeah, no, if the wasps were just spontaneously created by the house. It's like, yeah. Everything weird. It has no rules. It's making it come into existence.
Yeah, but he does realize Danny knew what was in it, the elevator, because we're jumping around in time where we already know Jack had got stuck with the elevator halfway. Here, Danny's hearing the elevator come up.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks the attic, and then he realizes he can't get up there, and he can hear his dad running.
Yeah. The insectile buzzing sound of the motor.
So Wendy's waking up,
Yeah.
and she's screaming for Danny, but she can hear Jack upstairs, and her and Holleran are basically looking at each other because she finds him.
Because he stumbles upon her
knocked the fuck
battered.
and she basically is trying to wake him up, and basically they realize Danny's on his own. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, and they don't know where. Because the house is big. I think 110 rooms is what it had.
Yeah. Look, see, you make fun, but even on 629, Mrs. Torrance, because his jaw's broken.
Oh.
"Where is the boy, Mrs. Torrance?"
Yeah.
"On the 3rd floor," she said, "with his father."
Yeah.
Because his jaw's broken.
Yeah. They do great. I mean, the whole going back and forth is such a great way to keep the suspense. Not just have one long drawn out. And then he thought, and then she thought, getting it from their point of views is perfect.
So, the monster's coming at him. He says, "You're not my daddy." Danny told it again. "And if there's a little bit of my daddy left inside you, he knows they lie here. Everything is a lie and a cheat. Like loaded dice my daddy got me for my Christmas stockings last Christmas. Like the presents they put in the store windows, and my daddy says there's nothing in them. No presents, they're just empty boxes. Just for show. You're it, not my daddy. You're the hotel, and when you get what you want, you won't give my daddy anything because you're selfish. And my daddy knows that. You had to make him drink the bad stuff. That's the only way you could get him, you lying false face."
You highlighted that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on 631.
Go on and hit me, but you'll never get what you want from me. The face in front of him changed. It was hard to say how. There was no melting or merging of the features. The body trembled slightly, and then the bloody hands opened like broken claws. The mallet fell from them and thumped to the rug. That was all. But suddenly his daddy was there, looking at him in mortal agony, and a sorrow so great that Danny's heart flamed within his chest. The mouth drew in a quivering bow. "Doc," Jack Torrance said, "run away, quick, and remember how much I love you."
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that was the saddest line
Yeah.
in the entire
Mhm.
book.
Which is
Like,
why it's not just
his
plain
father
horror.
had failed at everything,
Mhm.
and this is the one thing that he finally didn't fail at.
Yeah, and protecting the son. Like before, it was how silly if he failed as the keeper, that'd be insane. But he, luckily comes through at the end here. Breaks through just to try and protect him. Yeah, he shook his. I love that. I mean, he shook his. He took one of his father's bloody hands and kissed it. It's almost over. It's crazy. Like we said, he's almost like a saint. The way that this little boy is totally unaffected by your sins, your shortcomings, the grossness. I mean, the way that some of these guys kiss feet, some of these priests and all that stuff, and not supposed to be bothered. In the past, they'd be around all the plague victims and stuff.
Well, we have basically Holleran's gonna be like, "Can we help him?" And like, "Is he dead?" And Wendy and Holleran are like, Wendy's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically sitting there, and the elevator comes to life, and it's just freaking weird for them. So Danny's not moving. He recognized suddenly, fully painlessly, for the first time in his life, he had an adult thought, an adult feeling, the essence of his experience in this bad place, a sorrowful distillation. "Mommy and Daddy can't help me, and I'm alone."
Yeah.
"Go away," he said to the bloody stranger in front of him. "Go on, get out of here." It bent over, exposing the knife handle in its back. Its hands closed around the mallet again, but instead of aiming at Danny, it reversed the handle, aiming the hard side of the rope mallet at its own face. Understanding rushed through Danny. Then the mallet began to rise and descend, destroying the last of Jack Torrance's image. The thing in the hall danced an eerie, shuffling polka, the beat counterpointed by the hideous sound of the mallet head striking again and again. Blood splattered across the wallpaper. Shards of bone leaped into the air like broken piano keys. It was impossible to say just how long it went on, but when it turned its attention back to Danny, his father was gone forever. What remained of the face became a strange, shifting composite, many faces mixed imperfectly into one. That's why I was saying it almost like it can, like it's just going to take on, like all the people it sucked in are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Danny saw the woman in 217, the dog man, the hungry boy thing that had been in the concrete ring.
Yeah.
"Mask off, then," it whispered. "No more interruptions."
Huh. And that's great. That the masks are all of the...
Yep.
Yeah, how would you word that? The masks are... Like, its masks, it had the form of all these different things. But then they don't really exist, right? I mean, or at least... as imperfectly as his own dad was in there. His dad was in there.
His dad wasn't. It's not. So that's why I said his dad's not anymore. Once it turns the mallet on itself,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically squashes the last of the dad. Like nothing is left of him.
Well, nothing of his physical body. She's okay.
I think even his spirit is gone at that point.
But you thought I thought it was Jack killing himself to protect him.
No.
You're saying it's the house.
I'm saying it's the house.
Yeah.
And that's
killing it
the
to shut him up.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's being nice guy.
Yeah.
Before you know it, he's gonna say, "Go to the boiler," or something. He might give him some advice.
Like it stopped the house. It stopped
Mm-hmm.
it from attacking Danny. And like the dad could potentially try to take control of the body.
Yeah.
And stop the house from killing Danny at all.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick baby break. We'll finish this talk. Okay, we're back. So the house killed the body, at least, of Jack to shut him up?
Yeah.
You think?
It killed Jack.
Yeah.
It finally just finished smothering him out.
Mm-hmm.
So that it can have full control of the body and try to kill Danny. and it's going to literally say like, how do you want to die? Like, you want to be in a game of tag? You want, like, we have so much time on our hands. I have so many ways to kill you.
Where's that?
Right after the mallet rose for the final time, a ticking sound filled Danny's ears.
Yeah, the ticking sound, I put a note because it's literally the ticking of the clock when it strikes the midnight thing, that this whole vision, this is it going differently from, just the father of time crushing the dunce boy.
We've already diverted, so... Anything else to say? And inquired, are you sure you wouldn't like to run? A game of tag, perhaps? All we have is time, an eternity of time. Or shall we end it? Might as well. After all, we're missing the party.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great. And this is the house talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when he's going to remind it that the boiler hasn't been dumped since this morning. It's going up. It's going to explode. So the creature's going to run downstairs, and he's going to run down, grab Hollerin, grab his mom. He's going to grab... So, chapter 56, Explosion. He's going to literally grab his shoes, grab his coat, grab his mom's shoes, grab her coat, grab Hollerin. Hollerin's going to really grab them.
Yeah.
And they're going to run.
My little note here is, it only comes to him finally what it means, the boiler, after you're saying that his dad was removed from the body.
Yeah.
So I just say, we don't know that it destroyed his soul. Yeah, it could be him. Did his dad help? To your theory, to your point of like, bad things and good things seem to be affecting, letting good things happen, letting bad things happen.
Maybe once it finally killed his dad, in quotation marks, like...
Yeah, killed the body.
Freed his dad so that
his spirit can talk to him, can affect him in these really subtle ways, these subconscious ways, these really tiny little effects that the disembodied can do for good or bad. Interesting. Yeah, and like you said, explosion, people get blown up, sent through the air like Superman.
Yep. And so you'll hear, like, on 637, it says, no, it won't be allowed. The manager and caretaker cried. Because this creature runs downstairs.
Yeah.
Actually lowers the boiler thing. Like lets the steam out. And it's like, all right, I did it. Not too late.
Where's that?
That's actually on 6:30 night. I win, it cried. It capered obscenely in the hot, rising mist, waving its flaming hands over its head. Not too late. I win. Not too late. Not too late. Not. And then... the words turned into a shriek of triumph, and the shriek was swallowed in a shattering roar as the Overlook's boiler exploded.
Now, why does he have flaming hands?
Because it was literally so hot.
Yeah.
That when he turned, like,
but he catches fire? Like, it's not steaming hands. It says raising mist, but then his hands are flaming hands over its head.
I'll tell you, it's on the previous page. It laid its Jack Torrance hands on the valve, unmindful of the burning smell which arose, or the searing of flesh as the red-hot wheel sank in, as if into a mud rut. The wheel gave, and with a triumphant scream, the thing spun it wide open. A giant roar of escaping steam bellowed out of the boiler, and a dozen dragons hissing in concert. But before the steam obscured the pressure needle entirely, the needle had visibly begun to swing back.
Yeah.
I don't think it means actual flame. I think, like...
Yeah. I know, just burning.
He was literally... He probably almost got melted. Like... Yeah.
I know. I mean, it could... I was thinking, like, his clothing could catch fire.
As someone who touched something hot recently...
Yeah. I have to assume other people throughout human history have experienced worse pain. I guess. I mean, I'm being gracious. But I got a level... Not the weakest one, not the worst one. I think right in between, level, whatever you call it, 2. That shit was nuts. So, yeah. So he...
That's the story if y'all ever want to hear it.
Yeah. So, maybe it's not literally flaming hands. I'm just trying to visualize it. Is it like made of flame? But I don't think so. I was just picturing it as a black mist. Like you said, funny enough, flame is actually the good thing. Flame is burning away the bad thing.
Well, that's what ends up. So because of that explosion, there will be flame everywhere.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you want the flame. From everything from the little girl trying to burn it down to the tension where you're like, wait, the fucking evil spirit's still in the little shed. This little tiny shed acts as a node for this spirit. So once that burns down is when we finally get like burning autumn leaves below a wasp nest, they whirled and blackened. Oh, is this where we see his actual the actual dark spirit thing? Windows
Not
shattered,
yet.
the dome over the mantle. He's yeah.
I think it's on the next page.
Split in two. The
Flame belched out of the Overlook's 5 chimneys at the breaking clouds. No, mustn't, it shrieked, but now it was voiceless, and it was only screaming panic and doom and damnation in its own ear, dissolving, losing thought and will, the webbing falling apart, searching, not finding, going out to fleeing, going out to emptiness, notness, crumbling. The party was over.
It's cool.
So, chapter 57, exit.
Yeah, don't worry. Go ahead with that. I'm just putting this. This is for the upcoming video that will be very interesting to make.
I mean, basically here, we're gonna see everybody scrambling. We're gonna get some clothes on. He's gonna realize that she's in her bare feet, picking up her coat and boots, because like they all got flown. There's clothes and people everywhere, and he's realizing these people are in their PJs. And Wendy's horribly pale, the side of her neck coated with blood that was now freezing. So she's basically gonna be like, I don't know if I can make it. And he's gonna be like, you have to.
Yeah.
Get this coat on.
My weird little funny note is like the party was over. Like it made from Milton's version of Lucifer of Satan is like he would rather be a ruler in hell than be a servant in heaven, like than to kneel in heaven. And so like it's created this little weird little hell realm matrix that it can lock people into for whatever weird little goals it has, and it's shrieking out. It's not dead. The monster's not dead because of this explosion, but it's kicked out. It has no power. It has not the same power. Its device for trapping people is gone. So now it's gonna have to rebuild that and build itself back up. I'm like, but that's just a perpetual struggle. It's a very interesting worldview. Like, yeah, it's gonna try and nestle somewhere, and then you go kill that, and that's just time, almost Zelda like,
Yeah.
or like, Ganon's gonna pop up again, and you're just gonna have to kill him, and I know that sucks, but that's just how it works when we all have immortal souls and free will.
Let me see. Looking back over his shoulder as he was now, he had on that day seen a large dark cloud of hornets rising in the hot air, swirling together, breaking apart, looking for whatever enemy had done this to their home so that the single group intelligence, could sting it to death.
Yeah.
Then the thing in the sky was gone, and it might only have been smoke or a great flapping swatch of wallpaper after all, and there was only the Overlook, a flaming pyre in the roaring throat of the night. So 646. I'll highlight it for you.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I see it here. Yeah, right in the middle paragraph there. Cool. Because like you said, is the darkness a hive intelligence, a super soul, an oversoul of all of bad people? Yeah.
Is it like the Borg? It just takes over. Like once you assimilate.
It's so cool because it's real world. That's why I love this book. This is a philosophical text. This is all of fucking religious history here, from Zoroastrians all the way up to modern day, whatever, to New Agers.
So they pull up to the equipment shed. Immediately, Danny whispers, "I can't go in there." And he says that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Because it's so
I'm
cool
just
that he
gonna go
knows
look for
as well.
a pile of old horse blankets.
You think he knows it would attack him?
Yes.
Like if it could just put all of its will into just trying to get him again one last time?
Yeah, and that's why he says, "Come back as quick as you can, please."
Yeah.
So he goes in, he looks at the rope mallets, he sees one missing. He wonders if that's what he was hit with. But he's like, no, I mean, they might have just lost one. It might not have been that.
Mm-hmm.
So none of that mattered. And then he found himself thinking of the hard wooden whack of the mallet head striking the round wooden ball, a nice summery sound. Watch it skitter across the bone, blood, gravel. It conjured up images of bone, blood, iced tea, porch swings, ladies in white straw hats, the hum of mosquitoes, and bad little boys who don't play by the rules.
Yeah.
All that stuff, sure. Nice game. Out of style now, but nice.
Yeah.
So you can hear outside Danny's getting nervous because I think Danny can sense. He goes, Dick. The voice was thin, frantic, and he thought rather unpleasant. Yeah. Are you all right, Dick?
Hold on now. Hold on. Yeah. I was making sure we don't get kicked off all the platforms here. I know, you're good.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
His hand closed tightly around one of the mallet handles, liking its feel.
Yeah.
His eyes went blank in the flickering, fire-shot darkness. Really, it would be doing them both a favor. She was messed up, in pain, and most of it, all of it, was the damn boy's fault. Sure, he had left his own daddy in there to burn. When you thought of it, it was damn close to murder. Patricide was what they called it. Pretty goddamn low.
The evil keeps using reason to try and, as its last-ditch effort to get people, back onto the evil track.
But, so he's actually going to pick up the mallet and start heading toward the snowmobile.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he stopped, looked wonderingly at the mallet in his hands, and asked himself with rising horror what it was that he had been thinking of doing. Murder? Had he been thinking of murder?
Yeah. Because he was he's out of the shed. So you think it broke the spell, kind of?
No, I don't know if he's actually out of the shed or if he was just heading over. Because just as he drew the mallet from the rack and turned toward the flood of white light from the snowmobile headlamp. Doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah, that's true.
His feet scratched unevenly over the boards of the equipment shed like the feet of a clockwork toy that were being wound up and set in motion. So he's still in the shed.
Yeah.
I
like that clockwork part again.
Yeah.
It's like King's trying to get, you get it? Do you get
I'll highlight it for
that
you.
We're all like the little creatures in the clockwork thing?
But it goes, for a moment, his entire mind seemed filled with an angry, weakly hectoring voice. Do it! Do it! You weak need no balls.
Yeah.
Kill them! Kill them both!
Yeah.
What's funny is that it reminds me of Palpatine. Do it!
I know, yeah, do it. Literally do it. That's so funny.
So
oh my God,
he
Lucas,
literally
how
just
could
throws
you?
a mallet behind him and runs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause
Danny
it's
was sitting
focusing
on the
all of its will
snowmobile
into
seat,
that.
and Wendy was holding him weakly. His face was shiny with tears, and he was shaking as if with ague. Between his clicking teeth, he said, "Where were you? We were scared." It's a good place to be scared of, Holleran said slowly. Even if that place burns flat to the foundation, you'll never get me within 100 miles of here again. So he wraps them in blankets, and he tells them, make sure you're wrapped up really well, because we got to ride. We got a long way to go, but the worst is behind us.
Yeah.
So they leave. The Overlook was like a torch now flaming at the sky. Great holes had been eaten into its sides, and there was red hell inside, waxing and waning. Snowmelt ran down the charred gutters in streaming waterfalls. They purred down the front lawn, their way well lit. The snow dens glowed scarlet. So, he starts pointing, the hedge animals are dead.
Yeah. Yeah, they won. I mean, they've destroyed this mini hell matrix. This little trap. It's another soul trap.
Yeah. A huge spiraling gout of sparks and flaming debris rushed up into the howling winter night. A bundle of flaming shingles and a wad of hot flashing were wafted in through the open equipment shed door by the wind. After a while, the shed began to burn too. So almost like, even though the house wants to stay alive, nature is... Some good force is burning it away. Like, now that it has the fire, it's spreading it.
Yeah.
And making sure it dies.
Yeah, why are you saying that specifically? Because
literally a piece was carried from the house to the equipment shed in the wind.
They were wafted through the open. Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. I didn't think of that. That was cool.
So the
because
snow
it goes through the open door. Like, it literally went
Yeah.
perfectly in through the door.
Yeah, it was like
Huh. Because just as evil can manipulate literally the natural, like the trees alive, the topiary, the...
yeah. It
the-
seems like something is now
Mhm.
like a good force has the ability
Yeah.
now. Like it's been weakened enough. So as they're driving, like they sense Wendy's dying.
Mhm.
But the snow had stopped and a silver dollar moon had peeked out through the raftering clouds. Sorry. Far
Mhm.
down the road, but coming toward them, coming upward through a series of S-shaped switchbacks, was a pearly chain of lights. The wind dropped for a moment, and Holleran heard the faraway buzzing snarl of snowmobile engines. Holleran and Danny and Wendy reached them 15 minutes later. They had brought extra clothes and brandy and Dr. Edmonds, and the long darkness was over. 'Cause I'm telling you, I think the town, almost like a spell had been lifted.
Yeah.
Either they could see the hotel burning like a beacon,
Mhm.
or they knew, because there's no way that they would have reached them in 15 minutes, even
Yeah.
if you saw the hotel burning. Like, it didn't take Holleran 30 minutes to an hour. Like, it takes an hour to get from Sidewinder to the hotel. I think even by snowmobile.
Mm.
So,
So they had been...
someone down in the town must have known we should just get up there.
Yeah, yeah. That is a good point. Yeah, I'm gonna put respond too quick. Man, does Stephen King even know what he wrote?
I don't know.
No, right?
So, epilogue in summer, chapter 58.
Yeah, if you want. I feel like we covered it.
I mean, yeah, it's just cute, like, just for anyone.
Because the whole Al Shockley thing I got highlighted, but yeah.
That's really the only line that super matters. I've decided to take Al, Mr. Shockley, up on his offer, she said.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good job, something you could get interested in. When do you start? Right after Labor Day. When Danny and I leave here, we'll be going right on to Maryland to look for a place.
Yeah, that's true. We know where it should be taking place.
Yeah.
The Shockley trilogy that we should be getting. Maybe he'll come back to it. Like the Asimov books. Remember originally they were like 30 years apart, some of them? Which is insane. That feels crazy to say, but I'm like... I mean, for this it'd be 2007. So that anything now would be literally 50 years later.
I really gotta read Dr. Sleep.
I know.
I'm about to have a
Ooh,
Dr.
I was to
Sleep.
say, we need to get to Dr. Sleep. With our... She's not even a newborn. She's officially 10 months today. It's crazy. That's why, there was pauses for us to go check on that. Yeah.
Is she okay? Whoa.
Yeah. She's good. She rolled that way, but she's good.
Sleeping position. Oh,
I
okay.
know. She's
The
sleeping
angle
so
that I'm
funny.
at. She's sleeping fine, and the angle I'm at is...
Man, I love this. I can't wait. I really gotta make sure I pick all this apart and make it into one cohesive, like, breakdown video of this, because I think there's so much that can be missed. And you see that from the stuff we Googled, where people are debating on stuff that's actually pretty clear in here.
I think so.
The whole George thing, he got hit for sure. People were Googling if Danny, who the hell Tony is. And it's like, no, I mean, that was absolutely explained. So,
Well,
and then
this-
just understanding the whole metaphysics of how this works is fascinating.
we hear Danny kind of like
implications.
sad about the shine. Dick tells him he'll be there for him, even in
Mhm.
Maryland.
Yeah.
And then he catches something, and he says, "Help me, Dick, I got him. Help me." Holleran laughed. "You're doing fine all by yourself, little man. I don't know if it's a pink whale or a trout, but it'll do. It'll do just fine."
Mhm.
He put an arm around Danny's shoulders, and the boy reeled the fish in little by little. Wendy sat on Danny's other side, and the three of them sat at the end of the dock in the afternoon sun.
Mhm.
So that's why I almost feel like the end of the book is really to show Dick being like, "I'll be here to guide you, but
Yeah.
you really are going to have to learn to do things by yourself." Kind of like that revelation he had where he was like, "Oh, mom and dad are
Yeah,
not
he's alone.
here. I'm
Yeah.
alone." Like Dick is like that,
Yeah. Yeah, there's even a whole exposition before that on, the problem of evil, basically. Halloran saying, sometimes bad things happen to good people and bad guys seem to live pretty well. but it's our love for each other, basically, our making meaning and being here to help each other. Which is why, do you think there's anything here that would indicate that the soul of Jack is helping and involved? I don't think so, really, as much as
Not right
it'd
now.
be interesting. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be there.
If anything, it's showing Halloran is okay with being a guiding force for Danny, knowing that he doesn't have a father now.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just straightforward.
Yeah. So that's it. That's The Shining in
I know, right?
5 parts.
Literally, I don't know how many hours it's gonna be. A lot.
Let me know if you like when I do speed runs of the book.
Yeah, we'll do some sort of summary like that. I think.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I've always done that for Freddie because he always asked me what the book was about.
I'm like, what in tarnation? What do you give it out of 10?
I love this book.
It's crazy to say. I told you off air. I said I'll tell it on here. I don't think I mentioned it before, right?
Yeah,
Did I?
you change your mind?
No. I don't know what would be a 10. I'm like, I said I think I know you shouldn't be giving out 10s easily. 10. But yeah, I'm like, I mean, how would it not be a 10 if I think that so many parts are tied together? Maybe it was a little on the nose towards the end where it's like, yeah, he felt like a wind-up toy. I'm like, but I don't think, and especially our Googling on some of the questions, like, people miss a lot of this stuff. We aren't reading it closely if we weren't doing this podcast thing. It's like, that's what I love about doing this. Like,
honestly, even
we're
as a
sitting
fun
here
read,
talking
it's just
to
a
each
10
other.
out of 10 if you're looking for something spooky to read.
But I guess that's what even makes it more 10 out of 10 to me. Like, you can read it superficially for fun, just to go through it, and you'll be like, that was great.
I read it the second time and it was still spooky.
Yeah. But even if you want to break it down, I'm saying, even if this future video I want to make, if you want to break it down, well, like pulling from real world religions and this and that and historical takes on the implications of the X and Y, like, you could do that again. If you can enjoy it at such a simple, fun, summertime, spooky time read, and this level of, like, then that's a 10 out of 10. And I think technically it's a 10 out of 10. Like, with even the way he cuts off the sentences is such a cool, like, writing style. There's, like, just pure actual writing style choices and things that he does that are great. Where I don't feel like that's true. I know you like the Mercedes trilogy, like, not to critique and compare all these different things.
No,
but I'm
you
like,
can't compare them. So I really love the Mercedes trilogy.
but even creativeness.
But you can't compare it to The Shining.
Yeah, just pure creativity on everything from the world building to the...
Like,
but the actual sentence structures, like technical things he does.
Like, Finders Keepers was really weak.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, where they're having thoughts, and then it's interrupted by the other thoughts, so he has to interrupt the sentence.
Even the characters, the way they're written, and, like, don't get me wrong, I love Bill Hodges, and I love the characters, and there are some Stephen King books I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
The Mercedes trilogy is not one of them. But The Shining is so much better than any of them.
Yeah.
That I've read so far.
Mm-hmm.
We're still missing some of his big ones. Like, I want to read Green Mile at some point.
And Misery.
You're
hoping.
I was hoping to do Misery soon, but honestly, I might need a minute.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll
I
read
might
Lovecraft. You might get upset
especially
again.
with the baby. I mean, at least it'll be fun. And, like, short. I kind of want something shorter
I know.
we can actually cover it. Because I feel bad. The baby's been going through a rough spot. And
300, maybe 400 pages, 370.
Well, that's not bad.
I can compare it more directly this way.
I think The Shining's like 600.
Yeah. Let's see. It's close.
It's
The Shining's like 15 hours on audio, and it's 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
damn close.
And look, she got an axe. Spoilers, I'm sure. Salem's Lot. What about Salem's Lot? That was pretty big.
Yeah.
17 hours. Dun, 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 dun. We'll figure it out. We'll see, but we are very interested. This Dreamcatcher thing comes up a lot too. 22.
That's one of the movies I watched.
Oh,
but
really?
like in pieces.
Yeah. So we'll see what we get to. But yeah, I don't know, man.
We'll probably be covering some. I would like to do another dip into Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Before October's over.
There may be some random horror stuff, and maybe some classic. We were saying Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein,
Dracula. We'll see.
Yeah, we could always flip a coin, see which one we do.
No, right, that's true.
Although you've done Dracula.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's what I was
if I read
saying.
Dracula, that might be smart.
Maybe, but also if you want to just read something new for both of us, you had technically read this before too.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, want to call it there?
Maybe we flip a coin.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or if you want, can't you put like a poll or something somewhere?
That's true. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do a poll. That sounds good.
Okay.
We'll put it to the votes. All right, guys. This has been an epic. The review / breakdown for this
We'll
has
see
been
how
quite
we
the
release
epic
these.
in our real life epic because our baby was sick during this whole thing, and it was quite a dedication to put this out. But I'm so glad we did. I feel like we understood this at such a deep level.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm excited to organize it all, package it a little better. A little nice little 1 hour total video breakdown. Be cool. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Do all the stuff. Like, subscribe, help us out.
Yes, please.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.